me a burb. Start
grave, the way was paid for me and Drake to create. Like Dr. Frankenstein, the arts and crafts. Now could we make a difference? Antoine Patton and Andre Benjamin been jamming for you grabbing rap niggas and journalists that's quick to misprint public and private business and retract back the deaf ears and think it's dismissed. Part 2, the sequel, all new cast. This ain't the same gang of nerds on the internet slandering your name behind that screen name. They're lame and their life is pretty.
Hey there, Clicks fans. Welcome to episode 14 of Dial H For Heroclix. I'm your host, Hunter Smith.
This is a funky, fresh episode already, right?
We getting funky. We getting fresh with me today. I got Andrew Disco Fever Alderson.
That's what they call me.
Austin, he's just plain Austin Smith.
Nothing interesting about him, I'll tell you what.
His favorite ice cream flavor is vanilla.
It's bullcrap. It's strawberry.
Today we will be discussing the sudden news explosion that hit pretty much when we finished recording last week.
You can tell, too, because we were like, oh, shit!
Yeah, at the end of that last podcast, son.
So we have a crap ton of news, a metric crap ton, I might even say.
Which is
you can
actually
measure it.
Measurement.
We have a lot of news to cover, and we'll also be talking about the Deadpool set and what we would like to see personally be put into a Deadpool set.
Some sort of Deadpool would be nice.
I think Deadpool would be pretty good.
Given the Wolverine and the X-Men set.
You guys, you're killing me. And we'll also talk about the teams that we have chosen out of your submissions for Best Build that we'll be playing next Saturday. First, let's get into some news. We only have 674.5 things to cover in our news section today.
Oh, that's all.
First thing that happened is the Alliance open house was going on literally like as we were finishing last week's episode, so we didn't really talk about any of it except for I think we mentioned the War of the Light was going to be the next event. Yeah. So Alliance had an open house. WizKids did at the Alliance open house in Fort Wayne up here close to where we are located.
Our store owner was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, our store owner was there.
Yeah,
we just talked to him.
Yeah.
And there were a ton of announcements. The biggest one being that the next OP kit or OP event after Avengers vs. X-Men will be War of the Light, like we and many others had predicted and expected
And hoped for and prayed for.
It will. For those who don't know, it will be a booster set like Fear itself. However, there will be two separate sets of boosters that will change halfway through,
Which is awesome.
and that helps to alleviate. I mean, a lot of people are sick of Fear itself by this point.
Yeah. I mean, like, I love the set. I'm already tired of it. I was tired of it by month 4, and then, like, going into month 5, I'm tired of the pieces.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing is, with 2 different sets like this, 2 different boosters, you could do a sealed event with, like, 1 of each for the final month or something crazy.
Yeah, that's true. We could hold some back. I could do 1-in-1s for a couple months, and then we could hold some back, and we could do that for the last
that'd be awesome.
couple months. Yeah, I think we're not the only ones who are getting tired of Fear Itself. Actually, everybody I talk to about Fear Itself say they're kind of getting burned out on it. And I know that the 2 other venues besides the Dugout have had a lot of decreased attendance in the last, 2 months just because people are getting burned out. So that's one good way to try to remedy that, is to switch halfway through. There's a few slides, not many. Who could have predicted that there would be a colossal anti-monitor in the next lore in the OP kit? That's the one that that's what I wanted whenever we did our episode on upcoming stuff.
So good.
I knew they would do one, man, just because what else are they going to do? At the end of Blackest Night, the anti-monitor comes and he just F's stuff up. Well, that story's like 2.5, 3 years old now.
I don't know.
If you haven't read it, shame on you, because it's pretty dang awesome. What else did they announce? As far as the resource dial, how's that going to work?
Which one?
For War of the Light.
They announced that there will be multiple colors of lanterns. They haven't specifically stated how they're going to be handed out and all that stuff, but what it looks like is that when the event starts, you pick one of the power batteries of any of the colors, and then that's what you'll run for the duration of the event. It doesn't look like there are collectibles for the power battery. It looks like it's just a raw resource.
So as soon as we get more information on that, we will share it with you guys and explain it. But as of now, as far as I've seen, and I've done a little research, looking around on forums and stuff, that's all that I've seen info-wise that people are privy to. So
besides the slides of all the freaking awesome sculpts and the Necron Colossal.
Yeah, there's a Necron Colossal.
Whoa, we'll get to that.
He will basically be the serpent from what I understand
Yeah.
for that. I'm not sure if he's the main prize. Then I don't even know.
They said he's the grand prize. The anti-monitor is probably the gang prize.
I was gonna say that might be the Penguin or Null for.
Yeah.
In which case, they really stepped their shit.
Yeah.
Man, that Alliance open house was crazy though. Like the sheer amount of stuff they dropped on us.
Also shared was Guardians of the Galaxy. There will be a main set as far as like a 5-figure booster set, and then there will also be a CTD movie gravity feed set.
But the main set's based on comics, and the CTD is based on movies.
Correct.
Which is awesome.
So not only will you get the whole crew that's going to be in the movie, which is a pretty good lineup.
Yeah.
But you'll also get the kind of all the different teams. Like you'll probably get a new Hollywood.
Yeah.
Probably get like a Astro, a Major Victory,
A new Vulcan.
a Cosmo, a Vulcan. Why
I don't know.
Vulcan?
I'm just saying we're going cosmic.
All the Guardian lineups. Is Gamora? Yeah, Gamora's in the movie, so she'll be in the movies. Yeah. Finally, maybe we can get a Gamora that has the Guardians of the Galaxy keyword. For Christ's sakes, that pisses me off so much when I try to build a Guardians team and I realize that neither one of the really good Gamoras has the keyword.
Yep.
Anyways, that was announced. Full set and movie set, both coming in August of next year, of course. They have already confirmed Yu-Gi-Oh sets. There will be three total,
and an event storyline.
Yeah, there will be an OP kit with a OP, what they called an event storyline. So I don't know what exactly they're doing with that.
Hey, do a dual disc resource or something.
Oh my
like
gosh!
This December there will be a starter. February will be the first gravity feed, which is 55 different figures in it. Then in May there will be the second set, and in September will be the third set.
And they showed off some pretty sexy sculpts too. Like they're putting a lot.
Yeah,
of work
there's
into this. There's a summon skull, a Gaia the Dragon Knight.
I will link all of these on the podcast. Let me see if I can find it here.
I mean, like, I'm not.
These sculpts on this look better than any sculpts they've ever shown. I think they're going all out on the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff.
I don't want to say I'm a huge Yu-Gi-Oh fan, but when I was a kid, like, it was pretty big to me.
It seems to be that they're all, from the first sets.
Well, that's what they're doing, is they're doing it all based on, like, that first series. And
that's good, because that's the ones I have the best memory.
That's all I really know, yeah.
They got La Jin, who used to be one of my favorite cards, the Genie. Summon Skull or Gaia the Dragon Champion, which is the Gaia Alderson. Oh my god.
Awesome.
Looks so freaking sick.
Well, you know what that actually also confirms? Fusion monsters of some sort.
True. Summon Skull, his sculpt looks really good too.
Yeah, it
So
is.
they're going all out on those sculpts.
They've already announced 3 sets in a year. This is going pretty all in,
Let's backtrack real quick and announce or mention the ones that they showed pictures of. First of all, Spectre. He's big too for World of Light, yeah, and he's like giant size.
He's awesome.
There's a whole slide here. Parallax
on a 1x2,
who's a peanut.
There's the others.
We already mentioned that there's going to be a big Necron.
I'm wondering though if the Colossal Necron, if you notice on one side of him, because he has like the big Black Lantern battery.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it looks like it's part of the sculpt. I was going to say it'd be cool if the resource sat on that, kind of like how the Batcave did with the Bat Belt.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. There's Larfleeze. There's Bleeze. Sweet.
Bleeze.
I see Lissa Drac. I see Glommy. It looks like Glommy, at least.
Worf up at the top.
Worf. I can't remember the Indigo chick's name. I see Star Sapphire. I see Indigo 1. I see Jade. There's a... God dang it, I'm having a brain fart. The cat. Why am I having... Dexter. I'm such an idiot.
Which is probably what... Do you think that's what...
Yeah, that's the guy who won Worlds.
Yeah. Well, he got him in there pretty fast.
Yeah, and there's a slide that shows all the dials. Now, I thought it said the powers that were associated with them when you...
No, it just says the color list on the right. Like, it says their ID numbers. Because I thought the same thing at first too, but it's just it's the same word pretty much all the way through.
Okay, I was wondering if those little letters right there were
Yeah, all of them
symbols for
are
the
there,
powers.
including black and white.
Yeah, black and white. That's a good note.
Yeah.
Everyone's just gonna pick black.
It'll be fun, man.
Yeah, it will be.
And then our buddy Harry hasn't shut up about a certain set they announced for next year. What would that be, Harry?
Our main topic today, we'll get into detail later, is that a Deadpool set was announced. A full set, 5-figure boosters. I think there is a gravity feed. Let me see if I can find the slide here. I can't remember if there's a gravity feed or not. Actually, I don't see the slide for Deadpool.
It was right there. Scroll up. Right.
That's
there.
Iron Man.
Oh.
There it is.
There it is. It's going to have word bubbles that are like the bats from the flock of bats, and they attach to the base of one of the Deadpools, which is pretty
Gravity feed, fast forces, and organized play kit.
Oh, dang.
They're going on.
It's got Ross's Thunderbolts, the full crew. in
Yeah,
there.
there's already Flash with the red symbol, so basically him from the current god-awful run of Thunderbolts right now.
There's a Domino.
Dr. Bong is already spoiled. Domino. Sub-themes are Thunderbolts, Deadpool Core, of course, and Deadpool's allies and many enemies. I'm really hoping, well, we'll get into it later, but I'm hoping we get it.
They mentioned specifically the chases are, when the guy's giving the speech in the video, he flat out says the chases are going to be really, like, they're something big that people are going to really like, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they are.
Yeah, it even has a highlight. Top secret is chase figures. So cool.
They talked about some things we already knew, like the starter sets, the X-Men,
There's a future pass.
CTD, the Cap CTD.
They did show a Juggernaut in the Invincible Iron Man.
Oh, yes, that's what I'm glad you mentioned that. There is a Juggernaut in Invincible Iron Man. There's a few other ones on here that I hadn't seen shown yet either.
The black.
Is that Absorbing Man and Titanium? Or...
Yeah, the duo. Now, we saw this at Gen Con.
Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
And that's at the top is a Sin Crossbones duo.
Oh,
I couldn't even.
Snap.
I did not even notice that.
So we get a new Crossbones, which we'll get to here in a bit, and a Sin Crossbones duo.
Pretty dope. And then it shows the resource dial, and we will be talking about the rings. Actually, we can go ahead and talk about the rings.
Oh, dear God.
All of them have been spoiled now. Austin, I'll let you talk about the rings because I know you're a big Iron Man fan.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, when I saw that Mandarin, I said, it's going to depend on the rings how playable he is. But then when they went through and showed these rings, like, I've been completely baffled. The ring, one of the rings is the Mento Intensifier. This character can use mind control. To note, all the rings are 4 to 6 relics. And they're full size, so you do wear them on your hands. That wasn't... At first we thought that maybe that was just like a show-off thing. No, they're actually full size, you wear them. Mento Intensifier is this character can use mind control. It can use it as a free action, but may only target a single character that took damage from this character's attack this turn. So if you blast somebody, you can follow up with a mind control with it.
Free mind control.
Yeah, free mind
8
control.
points. That's a little bit good.
In combo with everything else. Ice Blast is this character can use Barrier or Incapacitate. When he uses Incap and hits, it may use Barrier as a free action, but may only place them adjacent to the target. Or place the Barrier tokens.
Well, alright, well, you win.
Champagne showers.
Ring number 10, which is the one in the OP kit, it's been confirmed now, is the ridiculous one, Disintegration Beam. Disintegration Beam is when the character hits an opposing character with a relic or resource assigned to it, or holding an object, and the attack roll is 10 or more, remove that relic, resource, or object from the game. When this character hits an opposing character that's 150 points or less, until your next turn, anytime the character can use Imperv, Invincible, or Invul, uses Toughness instead. Now, the first part of it's ridiculous. I mean, it just flat out says, hey, you have a 16% chance whenever you shoot somebody, not counting your probs or whatever you may have on top of that, you could remove their relic or resource from the game. That's huge.
I love it. And like we were talking about earlier, and you brought up, if you were playing against somebody running Book of the Skull, any of their guys that you hit
are technically assigned
the book, even if they're not. I just thought, even if they don't have a hammer yet.
Yeah, it's just if they're assigned the book.
They're assigned the resource, so you could take it and remove it from the game before they even got the hammer.
I mean, like, we've been waiting. I mean, we talked about Silver Bullets before and how we're not too big fans of them, but we've been really waiting for something that destroys resources this easily, and this is ridiculous.
And it's not easily even anyway.
It's a 16% on it. Yeah, it's not like...
At least
Guaranteed.
you could try to probe into it, but still, it's not easy. It's not dependable. It's not a true silver bullet for sure.
It's gonna depend on how the power plant works out. Matter rearrangers. When this character has no action tokens, give it a free action and choose a square of blocking, hindering, water, or clear terrain within range and line of fire. You may replace that square with one of the other types listed.
God.
I don't know if it's worth the 8 points for the 50-50 chance to get it, but it would be fun
It's
once
a
you
fun
have
one.
it.
And I mean, like, you could flip somebody's hindering over and turn it into water.
I'd use that against
On a
Batman
stealth,
teams,
on someone who's stealth,
so-
turn it into water, and all of a sudden they're kind of stuck. Blacklight. This character can use Smoke Cloud as a free action. Opposing characters that begin their turn in a square with one of these terrain markers placed by this ability modify their speed and range by -2. This character and adjacent friendly characters can use stealth if they occupy a square with a terrain marker placed by this ability.
That's pretty good.
So, first off, free smoke clouds are always ridiculous, especially with the new -1 thing as of the PAC.
Plus you give them -2.
Plus -2 speed and range, and the halving from moving out of hindering goes
and
first.
it's free stealth.
So it'd be half you would replace, and then you would take the -2.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, that's brutal. It's honestly probably one of my favorite rings.
Yeah, I mean, the average movement is, 8, 9?
Yeah.
You have
So
it to
let's say you even have a 9. You would half it to 5 and then -2, so
You
you'd
move
only
3.
move 3 instead of 5. That's pretty dang nice.
And then any of your people that are saying
You ain't charging out of that, champ.
Oh man! And then
you can only go one square.
Electroblast. When making a ranged attack, this character modifies its damage and range by +1 and has an additional bolt. We've been waiting for another relic that adds extra bolts.
Yeah, I like this. I like this much better than Doc Ock Arms. Because we were talking about relics the other day, and I said I never, ever use them. Strictly because I think I've succeeded on like one of 25 relic attempts, or 20 relic attempts. So I just flat out quit trying them. But all of these are 50-50s.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this one, while it's not quite as good as Doc Ock Arms, it's more reliable.
Yeah.
Hitting that 50-50 is a lot
I'm just
easier than
saying,
hitting
plus
a
1
33.
damage and range, and an additional bolt with someone who can use perhaps.
Perhaps Starfire from
Hey,
SOG.
we'll get to that. Hey.
So, very happy with all these rings.
I talked about before, I was like, that Mandarin's okay. And it's going to depend on those rings, and holy crap. Every time they spoiled a new pair of rings, I was more and more in love with it. I cannot wait to see that resource. That resource is going to be awesome. I have to have one.
We also got wind of a Godzilla set.
For the upcoming movie.
This is real. This is not
Gojira.
fake. Godzilla!
Gojira.
So now you can run your Godzilla and Kaiju against each other. Or you can see if...
You can technically run your Kaiju and your Kaiju against each other.
Yeah. It's going to be a CTD set for the movie.
They're making a movie.
Doesn't say...
Legendary's making a movie.
No word on exactly how many different figures there will be in the set, but...
I'm willing to bank on probably like 24 or something.
I don't know. I need to go back and watch Godzilla.
There's
I
a
haven't
lot of
watched it
Godzilla.
forever.
You got like Super Mega Mecha Godzilla.
All I want
22.
is Godzuki.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, he was the only one I liked on the cartoon.
Yeah. Mothra's gonna be top tier. It's gonna wreck faces.
We got Guardian, who is a spoiler from the Gravity feed of Invincible Iron Man.
The rabbit.
He has no special powers. But
Yeah, no special anything, but he has a really good dial.
I know.
For 100 points.
Yeah, especially for 100 points.
Starts out as hypersonic, very good values, a 10, an 11 attack, 17 plus energy shield defense, and 3 damage.
Energy shield's great on a hypersonic piece because, I mean, you're not going to get stuck up there.
With
usually.
Invul as well.
Yeah.
And then he gets hit on the running shot super senses, and then in dial he has running shot psychic blast. So he has move and attack his entire dial except last click.
You mean Indom, not Invul? You said and Invul as well.
Oh, sorry, I meant Indom. Yeah.
I was like, where's the Invul? I don't see it.
Yeah, he has Indom, he has move and attack his whole dial except last click, and decent defense values.
He's a solid gravity feed piece. He's not bad at all. I'd have no
Alpha
problems
Flight keyword and Soldier keyword, and a pretty cool sculpt.
Yeah. He's the guy.
The one I was most psyched about.
Oh yeah.
I want to combo this guy with the Mandarin rings.
I'm just happy that he's going to be in the video game. That's why I was more psyched when they
And
showed him.
that sculpt might... If the sculpt comes out looking anything like that, dude...
That's gonna be
We're talking about Firefly from the Arkham Origins set, He is going to be in the set and in the game. Couldn't be more happy. I didn't think he's one of those characters that even in comics too don't get enough love in the Batman universe. And he has a special... First of all, he has improved targeting hindering, so he sees through stealth. He has the assassin trait, like I assume all the bad guys from Arkham Origins are going to have, because all 5 of them, 4 or 5 we've seen now, all have it. He has running shot and a special attack power called Watch It Burn. And this is interesting. It's not exactly how I thought they would do this. When Firefly hits an opposing character, give that character a burn token. Characters with a burn token can't use stealth. At the beginning of your next turn, remove the burn token, deal that character 1 damage, and place a hindering terrain marker in a square that character occupies. Now basically what it's doing is he sees through stealth, and he can help the rest of your team see through stealth.
Yeah, and then it's a little bit.
But it's only going to last for that turn.
Yeah,
because the burn token's going to get removed at the beginning of that character's next turn, and then
at the beginning of your next turn.
Sorry, the beginning of your next turn, and then you're providing them a hindering, so they're back in stealth again.
Yeah.
So basically, for 1 turn, he'll let all your other characters see through stealth.
I think it's more effective on characters that can't ignore hindering on movement, because then you're halving their move. Effectively, it's just half target's movement almost. Yeah. And then combine that with like any of the rings that give energy explosion or anything like that, and you're looking at him putting burn tokens on everyone.
Yeah. The 2 important things to know with this power are that it's on hit, so you don't have to actually do any damage.
And he has 2 bolts, so you could just hit one guy, burn him, and then the other guy you could do the damage to. And
also, the second is that at the beginning of your next turn, you remove the burn token, which means you'll have time to outwit their defense. So they will,
or outwit their stealth.
Yep.
And then when they get it back, you don't care about it.
You don't care. Do more damage. Whatever you want. Whatever floats your boat.
One thing I like about this guy, I like when my ranged pieces also have enhancement.
Whoever fuels your jetpack IMO.
Because then you kind of have support for your other cheaper ranged guys. I mean, and energy shield too. I like my ranged guys to have energy shield.
I like him. He's flavorful. He's got a cool sculpt. He's a fun figure. And Batman enemy's always great. I mean, his attack values are kind of low for 115.
Especially when I put him next to that Deadshot with that 12 attack.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Looking down that little list there.
Oh my god, I can't wait for Deadshot.
He's 10s and 9s. I'd throw. You had Deadshot next to him. Throw him up to a 12 and just start murdering him.
Yeah, he's all 10s and 9s.
As most Batman enemy are. They're all low values. That's why Deadshot's so nuts.
Drewster, what do we...
Drew, you want to talk about the Mage Knights?
Oh my gosh, okay, so this is like my most anticipated set, my dear lord. So whenever you see a new Mage Knight spoiler, you're like, what's the team ability? The 2 new guys they announced have Dominion Pact. Whenever an opposing character within 4 squares is KO'd, characters using this team ability are healed 1 damage.
Sick, nasty.
Mage Knight is a relatively low cost set with not a lot of clicks.
With a lot of minions.
With a lot of minions, so you're going to get a lot of healing done. Bonebreaker Shaman is the first one. He has a trait whenever an opposing character takes damage from Bonebreaker Shaman attack and the result of the attack roll is doubles. The target can't move until your next turn.
Sweet.
That's pretty good.
I can dig it.
He's 80 points, he's got 8 range, no indom, just a general vanilla ability.
Wait, did you say 8 range on top of that trait too?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, with TK.
Son.
TK is the thing.
Perplex and support on
Perplex,
his damage.
TK, support, barrier, phasing teleport.
TK, barrier, support, and perplex are... He's like the total support package.
He drops into enhancement too and Pinsai for a little while.
And he's 10 attack with support.
Is that pulse wave bottom dial? You shitting me?
Yeah, and A-range seems pretty good in this set from what we've seen. Like, we haven't seen a lot of high range.
A-range is now good in modern.
I was going to say, yeah, that's true. A-range is high, period.
His sculpt is amazing. He's so great.
He's just another good addition to these guys. And like I said, every time one of these guys comes out and they spoil a new team ability, I'm like, these team abilities are so good, I need them in the main.
They need to do some. Yeah, they need to do some of this stuff with main ones.
All of the Mage Knight ones they spoiled so far are really cool team abilities.
This next one I'm really excited about.
Oh man, I love this guy.
He is also from Dominion Pact, but his sculpt is just great.
Like some big armored priest, and he's holding a book.
Yeah, he's 165 points. He has Indom, 8 range. He's a flyer. Starts with phasing teleport, 11 attack, 17 invul, and a 3 damage outwit.
8 range.
But his attack ability is that It's really good. He can use mind control, and when he does, the hit target modifies either its attack or damage value by +1 until actions resolve. He can use mind control as a free action. When he does, instead modify his attack value -1.
He's kind of...
It's not a then, it's he can just use mind control as a free action, but he gets negative.
Yeah, so he can do it twice.
He could be... Yeah, so he could be outwitting and shooting your brick, and then mind controlling somebody else on your team for free.
Yeah, making them shoot your brick.
And the cool thing about his power is that attack or damage value by +1 is only until actions resolve, which is actually better than Brother Voodoo's.
Yeah, because it's until next.
Because Voodoo's, they get the bonus on their turn as well, and this guy's only giving it whenever he's controlling you.
Yep.
I love it.
He gets prop control for the second half of his dial. He has an 8-click long dial. He has prop control and psychic blast on all of his bottom half of his dial with super senses and invul.
Actually, the one thing I really like about the Mage Knight clicks is they have really cool flavor text on all their abilities too.
Yeah,
like it kind of tells a story and like you get a lot of good feel for the personalities.
I cannot reinforce. This is my most wanted set.
We were talking earlier. We were placing those orders with James. Is like, I think I'm going to buy Mage Knight a little here and there, but man, the more I keep looking at these figures, the more I'm thinking I'm going to have to get a brick.
I got a case. I'm getting a case.
Well, I just ordered a case of 2 towers or pre-ordered, and we got 2 new spoilers for 2 towers, and I love both of them.
The sculpts are cool too.
They're both Urukai pieces.
Yep.
I wish to God they had the orc keyword. I'm getting pissed off that they don't put the orc keyword on them.
Orcs.
They're part orc.
No, they're not.
This guy is for 40 points, man. This top dial 40 is worth 40 points. Just that top click of charge, willpower, and exploit for 40 points.
For 2 damage. Yeah.
He does have Forces of Sauron keyword at least.
Yeah, that is good.
And Isengard, which is new.
He's 5 clicks long, 40 points. Like I said, charge, willpower, exploit on top click. He has exploit and willpower for the next couple of clicks, and then the last two he gets flurry with 2 damage and then 1 damage. So not too shabby for 40 points, especially if you can manage to get him into the fight safely without getting shot first.
Definitely.
The Urukai Berserker is 60 points. He has a trait. Any successful attack roll made by him when he rolls doubles is a critical hit.
My dear
Okay,
Lord.
so I have a question.
Yep.
Critical hits hit no matter what, don't they?
Yep.
So that means this little bastard, this little 60-point douchebag.
Well, what do you mean hit no matter what? As far as super senses and stuff like that?
No, I mean like if you roll even if you rolled 4, a 2 and a 2, he'd hit even if you needed
Yes,
12
critical hits are hits that automatically succeed. So yes, all you have to do is roll doubles.
Son, screw that 9
And
attack.
I forgot
That's irrelevant.
that today when I played the Batman and the Robin, I forgot that when I rolled doubles that was less, I would still hit, and I remembered it at the end of my last game.
Son, this Berserker's bonkers then.
He has charge, quake, reflexes for 2 clicks.
Quake plus that means his quake and you roll doubles would be a 3 damage on top of it.
Yeah, it'd be a 3 damage quake if he rolls doubles on it.
Gosh, dang.
Yeah, he has plasticity he has 7 clicks for 60 points. He's a good damage soaker. Plasticity and exploit weakness, and then his last few clicks he gets CCE with good values, 10 and 2 already, 10 and 3.
His last click's 10 and 3.
I love both of these guys, especially this guy.
Yeah.
Forces of Sauron keyword as well, so.
And Isengard again.
Looking forward to my Lord of the Rings. Austin, you want to talk about Crossbones?
Oh, buddy.
He is a beast.
He apparently stole freaking Secret Invasion Punisher's machine gun, or Gatling gun. So, Crossbones, he's Brood, Hydra, Skeleton Crew, and Thunderbolt. Skeleton Crew got a keyword now, buddy. He's got Hydra team ability, 79 points.
I don't know shit about Skeleton Crew.
I don't know either, but people are excited for him.
I know about them T-bolts, though.
He's 79 points. He's got a special, or he starts with Stealth, Precision Strike, Energy Shield, and then he's got Close Combat Expert, which threw a couple people off until you realize that all of a sudden it makes getting in on him to try to swing at him a little riskier. When he pushes once, though, he goes on to Running Shot, Toughness, Range Combat Expert, and a special attack ability called I Shot Captain America, and you're next. Once per turn, when Crossbones hits with a ranged combat attack, he can use Sidestep and modifies his attack and damage by 1 this turn. After he uses Sidestep and actions resolve, he may make another ranged combat attack against a different character.
So nuts.
Here's what's crazy about that fun bit. You could range combat expert to trigger it, because it just needs a ranged combat attack.
Yep.
Go 1-1 with it or whatever, be a 12-3, and then all of a sudden you get a second shot with another 12-3. Most of his dial, he sticks with pretty good range stuff. I mean, it's a little wild at times. Drops into some blades later.
Mind control.
Mind control. He's a 79 point piece with Hydra, basically police team ability, sharpshooter. Sharpshooter range combat expert's nothing to ever scoff at. I've lost games to that friggin' combo. I mean, he's a good piece. And Thunderbolts for Avengers Initiative or something on him.
This guy's so good for 79 points, though.
Yeah, seriously.
He's a shutout for 79 points.
Those first 3 clicks are worth 79 points.
He is one of those pieces that if I was playing Invincible Iron Man and Sealed, showed up on a booster, heartbeat, I'd play him.
Probably going to be the
good team
best
ability.
secondary attacker in the set.
We are going to be seeing, I can guarantee you, with how many Thunderbolts teams we already see in our local metas and stuff, we're going to be seeing a hell of a lot of this bastard for a while.
He's good, too.
And he's awesome. And Sculpt's cool. I mean, I love the Sculpt.
And last but not least, actually it might be least,
Hey, I actually really like this one.
there's a Star Trek piece, Assimilation Target Prime. He also has Borg and Federation keyword.
But he's
or,
got a
team
really cool
abilities.
trait that plays off that.
He has a trait when an assimilation when he uses the Borg team ability, it may place the assimilation token on itself instead. When he is hit with an attack, you may remove assimilation tokens from it and modify the attacker's damage value by -1 for each token removed. So you're kind of like
You want
leaving a
assimilation
poison.
tokens.
You're kind of like leaving a poison on the person that hits you.
You see, here's what's crazy, and what I like about that is it's a double-edged sword, because like some of the Borg cubes, of course, are going to be throwing assimilation tokens on
Yeah,
you.
you're helping them.
With some of them, though. Some of them are like, oh, they get 1 damage extra when they're shooting someone with assimilation tokens. Oh, I'll just dump it because it triggers on hit. So you'll have the token before it hit, or when it hits you.
I like that because even if you just play him as a Federation themed team,
He's fun.
and you're playing against Borg and they're hitting you with the simulation tokens, you're like, oh shucks, I'll just pawn them off to the next person who hits me and make them take negative
I know,
and
right?
everything. He has a special movement power too. When he makes a ranged combat attack and actions resolve, you may move it up to 3 squares. So he kind of gets a 3 square sidestep after he doesn't even have to hit. It's just after he makes an attack and actions resolve. He doesn't have running shot, so that kind of helps him move around a little bit. He has outwit for the first 3 clicks, and then his last 3 clicks he gets pulse waves with 10 and 11s on his values. So
I mean, it's a cool piece.
not a bad piece at all. That is from the main set of Tactics 3. So that was a whole. Let me make sure we didn't forget anything. I think that's it. And like I said, we're going to talk more about the Deadpool set here in a second on our main topic. Now, I had just a tip prepared, but Austin has one that he wants to share, so I'll save mine till next week. Austin.
Okay, so I ran into this one like mad today, playing Book of the Skulls and everything. When you start your turn, take a minute to pause and look over everything you have before you make your very first power action. I'll get into what I played later, but I had Book of the Skulls, I had a really good leadership, I had a lot of good, I had sidestep, a lot of good free actions at beginning of turn. So it's important that you sit and you look over everything you have, make sure you get all of your free actions that you need to do, because once you take that first power action, you're past the point of no return. If I don't assign my book and I give that first power action, I'm SOL.
Yep.
And
I've done that myself.
I screw myself over with that even when I try to remember it like this.
And if it's a friendly game, sometimes I'll let the other person go ahead and assign it to, especially if they haven't made an attack yet. But, technically, you don't have to let them do that.
Yeah, but always just pause at the start, take a few seconds, go over each figure one by one, and just double check. I mean, it adds like another 10 seconds to your turn at worst, as long as you're pretty quick about it. And it helps tremendously.
There's also a few situations that can arise that can help you, like if you have poison shown on the book, you can go ahead and sidestep over and then kick in the poison.
Like mad.
Yeah, you did
so
that against me, and so that's just one thing to note, because you can, even if you have already dropped your beginning hammer, you're still at the beginning of your turn. You're still doing your free actions. So another thing to remember, and we may have actually mentioned this before, is before you go ahead and drop that hammer for the free quake, if you have a perplex or two you want to throw on that person's attack, do that first, and then drop the hammer, because you can do that. It's all free actions at the beginning of your turn.
I got a really good one today with I sidestepped over. I used the free action sidestep, chose him with book so he had poison, and then dropped a hammer on top of him, and after he perped his own attack up. It was just so many free actions stacked but it was so effective. I mean, like, it really carried a lot of my games today, so just go over your stuff. I mean, like, it's a simple thing. Those 10 seconds will save your ass in so many games.
Because once you take an actual action,
it's gone.
Then you're SOL. That kind of leads us into what we played this week. Did we play this past Wednesday?
It was oh gosh, what was it?
Oh, derp. It was
the big beefers.
The beefy guys. Yeah, that's right, because he had to change it at the last second. How many points? It was 1,000 points.
All figures had to be over 200 and had to have at least a printed value of 4 or higher on their damage at some point on their dial.
I think he said top click.
I think he changed it to top click.
So, yeah, all figures had to be 200 points with opening 4 damage.
Resources allowed, no colossals.
No vehicles. No team base. I played 4 figures that I've had played against me multiple times, but I've never had the pleasure of wrecking with. And my God, it was so stupid. I had Movie Hulk. I had Iron Man, Iron Patriot, which Austin's played against me a couple times. I played them at the 200 point value, which I think is their most efficient, but what they lack is running shot. But I was running Book of Skulls, so I was like, this is the perfect time to play these guys. Give them running shot. Now they have running shot, pulse wave, top click.
When we get to my team, like, me and you shared 2 figures.
I had the War Machine that I had been wanting to play for a while, and the one from Iron Man 3, the Target exclusive. He was probably, honestly, my all-star, even more than Hulk.
The War Machine?
Yeah, the War Machine. His options with this trait are just so useful. And actually, Edward, when we had him on, suggested this War Machine to us and talked about how good he was because of his options. If you're not familiar with him, he has a trait. At the beginning of your turn, choose one of the following you did not choose last turn. Energy Explosion, Psychic Blast, or Range Combat Expert. He can use that until your next turn. He has running shot most of his dial. And if you give him a hammer, he's like 13s and 12s. It's full dial. He has 4s and 3s on his damage. And then he gets prob control later only on ranged attacks, which are always going to be
what's ridiculous about his pickup power, though, is it's good for situations. Because he has 2 abilities that he can play off of running shot. And he's got 1 if he's already standing there and wants a good beef to his damage.
He also has a Vendor's Initiative team ability.
That's why I took him on mine.
And that's the main reason I took him on my team, too, is because I was also running Doom and Kang. So they're wild cards. And I've had Doom Kang forever. I've played against him a million times, and I've been wanting to play him forever. So I ran him this time so that they would copy Avengers Initiative whenever they were attacking and see through stealth. And then the Movie Hulk has Avengers keyword. I put Secret Avengers on him. Ooh. And then I would copy Secret Avengers with Doom Kang so that they can't be outwitted.
Yeah, I had some bad run-ins with that Movie Hulk.
I kicked ass. I went 2-0. I tied. Jarris and I both went 2-0, but he had like 2 more points than me. And that's thanks to Austin running the Game Bomb. If Austin hadn't ran the Game Bomb, guess who would have won?
Oh, man. My team was I went with Iron Man, Iron Patriot, but I ran them at 300 instead. I like them at their 200, and as you said, with Book of the Skulls are a way to give them running shot, that's fine. I liked giving them... I didn't have room for resource on my overall team. I ran them, the War Machine, Fear Itself Iron Man, the Blitz or the Mighty Pack one. I've been waiting to play him for a while. He's a good figure. Overall, I was like, he's a good beefy figure. Threw him on the team. I knew it was going to be going because of a lot of resources. And then I threw on M10 Anniversary Iron Man, the Relic Buster one, at full point value. So, like, other Relic teams were screwed.
Yeah. I actually, when Austin told me his team and he had the 2 Iron Man that are, like, anti-Relic resource, I actually really was hoping we'd get paired up because I didn't know if my team could legitimately beat his team with him having 2 guys who basically wreck. Because the problem is those guys are the best against Book of Skull.
Because Book of the Skull is technically assigned to your whole team. So that means they can never hit that M10 Iron Man for more than 1.
Right. And then they have... Yeah, exactly. And then he has a chance to not take any at all.
And then if you hit one of their primary attackers with a hammer, with the FI Iron Man, they can't roll the book. So it just stays in place.
I really wanted to play Austin's team because I didn't think my team actually legitimately could beat it. And I kind of wanted just the challenge, but we didn't end up getting paired up.
It was a fun team. I mean, and then I had 5 points left over, so I went back to my handy-dandy Gamma Bomb. But here's the fun part. I went up against Jarrus, as my... we only played 2 rounds. Up against Jarrus my second round, and he beat me. Had I not brought that Gamma Bomb, or had I not borrowed that Gamma Bomb to fill in those last 5 points, Hunter would have taken first. So it was just Salt and Hunter's wound, which is always amazing.
What I ended up doing with my team, I was given Hulk Scotty's hammer, and I never did a normal charge with Hulk the entire game. I kept using his double power action, which is he can use charge. He can use it normally, or he can be given a double power action to use charge, but does not have his speed if he doesn't use carry or pick up or hold an object. So since he had exploit already, nobody expected him to charge 10 squares, giant reach for another one, so basically charge 11 squares, and then hit you for 4 exploit. I knew that in this, with everybody being 200 points or more, I needed ways to chew through dampeners.
That was the problem I actually
and all
ran
my
into.
pieces can get through.
I had good dampener reducers on my, or good penetrating damage on my top dials, but a lot of my figures lost that crap as I got farther down dial, and it created a lot of problems for me. When I went up against Jarrus was running that movie Hulk with the freaking Infinity Gauntlet, which that combo was a pain in the ass. I kept blasting him with the FI Iron Man to try to get rid of his gauntlet temporarily, and it just wasn't enough. Even those, one turn down that I wouldn't hit him, he would just have that Steel Energy Gem, and he would just blast somebody. War Machine got ripped in half. It was bad. My first match, though, went pretty well, though. The guy I was up against, though, was playing World Breaker and decided to place World Breaker as soon as I made my first ranged attack, so it got ugly for World Breaker pretty quick, and I dropped him, right out the gate.
Yeah, somebody did that. I think your brother did that against
Aaron's
me
done it
one
a few
time.
times.
And you got to think, when you're playing World Breaker, it's not always to your advantage to use that power. You need to really think about where you're putting yourself up at
it's
before
a
you
mate. You
use
don't
it.
have to do it.
Because if you do it when there's a couple snipers looking at that square, then why would you even want to do it?
Well, see, the placement's immediate. So, as soon as I make the range attack, he can be placed next to.
Yeah.
So what he did was he basically set me up for the free alpha strike on him, and with Pinsai and everything. And World Breaker's a good piece. I'm not gonna try to pretend he's not. And he would have given me trouble, but I had good high attack values because it's an expensive set of pieces I was running. I had good penetrators on my first clicks, and he missed the anti-outwit rolls.
The thing about World Breaker is he doesn't have a whole lot of clicks, though. He goes down quicker than what most people expect him to.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull him up here. I don't think he has Hulk as name. I think it's just World Breaker.
It's just World Breaker.
Because
he's 350 and he's 11.
Yeah, comparing him to Movie Hulk, who's 255. Movie Hulk has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clicks of imperv, and then 2 of invul, 2 toughness, 1 regent. Those first 6 clicks of imperv go a long way.
And see, and the other thing about World Breaker is World Breaker has to have objects to get the most out of them.
See, World Breaker has 11 clicks. He only has 4 clicks of imperv on the top, and then he gets invul and imperv for a while. But he just, I don't know. For some reason, I always prefer Movie Hulk to World Breaker myself.
Movie Hulk also gets,
but see, if you're only playing World Breaker at 250 compared to the 250 Movie Hulk, 250, he's only getting 8 clicks of life instead of the 11 that Movie Hulk has. And he has less total clicks of imperv than Movie Hulk does.
Yeah.
So Movie Hulk's longevity is a lot better. And this World Breaker doesn't start with exploit either. If World Breaker started with exploit, I might actually give him the nod. But the fact that he only gets it mixed in every now and then on his dial, I like World Breaker a lot better.
You mean?
I like Movie Hulk a lot better.
Yeah. And you have to take into account they're both giants, so you can see them pretty much wherever the hell they are. That's another thing to... they're amazing melee pieces, and they're both decent damage soaks. But, it's detrimental to your own cause to a point to run them on certain maps. Because they're... Against a team like mine, especially, where it's so much ranged, I was just completely blasting them.
I played Doom King today for the first time, like I said, a piece I've been wanting to play forever. They never went off top click, I don't... I'm sorry. My second game, they got freaking smoked. Their top dial's just so good. Even I didn't even give them a hammer. I don't think they don't need it.
Who needs 14 attack?
They're an 11 running shot, 12 attack psychic blast, 19 imperv, and 5 damage prob control with 8 range. and they didn't even need a hammer to be hitting.
If you told me
people.
to build the best ranged click, like the single click I could,
Yeah.
that would be what I would build. Like
For-
running shot, pin, imperv, and freaking prob on the same
And then
click.
there's the fact that they end up getting a stop click midway through their dial. That puts them again on a really good click of basically the same thing with -1 values on everything. And they can
and wild
choose
card.
outwit or prop. Yeah, so I wild card them. Like I said, on defense I was putting them on Secret Avenger, so it's harder to outwit them. My second opponent had a X-Man with utility belt on him to give him willpower. He had Dark Phoenix at 200. He had M at full points. And he had... I cannot for the life of me remember who the other piece was. It was another... Oh, he had the duo as well, the Iron Man, Iron Patriot.
Yeah.
And basically, I knew exactly what he was going to do. Double power action X-Men,
Yep.
TK him up with Dark Phoenix, and then hypersonic the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
He focus fired Doom Kang, and Doom Kang went down quick, which is hard to do for.
Yeah.
So I was missing 300 points right out the gate, and I had just put all my hammers on, and all my guys had double tokens, and I was like, I might actually lose this. So I ended up soaking all of my attention into getting rid of X-Men, who had just double tokened himself, and because X-Men is like 280 something.
Yeah.
And then the belt makes him a 300 point piece. So I was like, well, if I can take out X-Men, then we're even. And this match won't be looking quite as bad as I think it is. So I did end up taking out X-Men. And then we were kind of at a neutral board state. And basically what the game came down to was he did not have ways through dampeners, and I did. He had to deal with my impervious on all my guys,
Right.
and I didn't because, like I said, all 3 of my range guys have Psychic Blast, and Hulk had Exploit Weakness.
Yep.
So the fact that I was cutting through his guys and the fact that he had to let me roll imperv and I hit a decent amount of them really turned the tide, and I don't think I took like 2 damage after that on 1 or 2 guys. Like,
Nice.
just because the fact that I could cut through dampeners and he couldn't. So that's one thing to know too, is when you go into an event, when you build your team, think of what are you most likely going to be going up against. In this event, all the figures had to be at least 200 points. So if a figure is at least 200 points, you generally know they're going to have Invincible or Impervious.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the majority. So you really need to put on your team figures that have some ways around it, either Outwit or Exploit or Psychic Blast, and that's why all my figures had Psychic Blast or Exploit Weakness. So when you go up in a format, think of what you're most likely going to be facing, not a specific figure
And
per
see,
se.
that's where Jarrus got me bad, was he picked off... Jarrus was running Movie Hulk, that Thor LE, which we've talked about. I'm not too big on that Thor LE. I think he's really like overhyped.
He's extremely overrated.
But in this setup, he was really good because of his trait where he has 1 defense for every 100 of the enemy's points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He just gave me the runaround, and once he started hitting my characters off of their penetrating clicks and knocking them down dial, it was game over for me. And like that was what we talked about. That was our just the tip 1 week, is to pick off things that weaken or that are good against your team. And he just removed all my penetrating damage, and it became, can I hit his imperv? Can he hit his imperv roll? Can I hit his imperv? Can he hit his imperv roll for the rest of the game?
We just got back from the dugout. We did our Fear Itself month 5.
Grab bag.
I decided to make it grab bag sealed, where basically you just buy $20 worth of boosters, and I did a maximum of 1 Fear Itself booster per person if you wanted to do Fear Itself at all. And the reason I did that was kind of looking at how much product we had left and knowing that a lot of our guys want to do double Fear Itself. I decided if we did it this way for month 5, then for month 6 we would definitely be able to do double Fear Itself for our last shebang.
Woohoo!
So we did it like this, and I think we will definitely have enough left over that for our last month we can do double Fear Itself.
Which I'm looking forward to. I actually, and we've talked about this before, I don't enjoy Fear Itself comboed at all. Wolverine the X-Men Fear Itself's not fun to me. I don't know. Fear Itself's just better when it's within itself. Double Fear Itself is a blast. The figures are balanced well.
It went okay with Thor today.
Yeah, it actually did go great with Thor.
But Thor is kind of similar in that it's a lot of move and attack and
a lot of heavy point characters.
Yeah, a lot of heavy point figures. So
And
out of the boosters we had available to players, we had Thor: The Dark World, Batman 66,
Wolverine
Gravity Feed. Only one player got any of those. The majority of people got Thor: The Dark World, and Drew got Streets of Gotham.
Drew didn't even get a Fear itself. He got all
Drew
Streets
sunk all $20 of his points of his money into Streets of Gotham, and he told me he's gaming the system.
And we all laughed.
And we kind of chuckled, and then I was thinking, well, he does have there is a decent amount of outwit at least, but that's not the main thing that helped Drew kick ass today. So, Drew, what team did you end up running?
I went 3-0. So, I'd like to say that no one believed me, and that
no one believed in me. No one gave me a chance.
No one gave me a chance. I ran Starfire from the team pack, who is a complete and total machine of destruction and pain and torment to everyone that she comes up
She's
to.
Definitely the best Starfire at the Streets of Gotham.
Yeah, she is. I ran the Batman Chase, the
Mystics one?
The Police Double Guns one.
The Police Double Guns one.
Not Devil Bats.
Oh, not Devil Bats, okay.
The one that has pin side.
That one actually is the best. I thought you were talking about Devil Bats.
No.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good.
I played the common Batman from that set, the 125 that has Indom and Perplex on...
Very good. The traded leadership Perplex.
Yeah,
we mentioned him when we talked about Gotham City. I said that he's an excellent one to play because he has the Perplex that he can use on people who share a keyword with him. And he has super strength. One of the few Batmans with super strength.
I played Lady Blackhawk, who has... She has running shot, like a 9 attack. An energy explosion, but the thing I played her for was police ability, which I'll get into because that Batman, the Chase, has police ability. GCPD Detective, the B side, the one with Perplex, but you can't perplex up damage, but still, it's still pretty good. And Black Canary, the one that starts with, I think it's like a 9 movement, 10 in cap with like exploit and charge flurry.
I think I talked about that Black Canary like one of our very first podcasts because I ran her on one of my teams as a buffer kind of for my ranged pieces. So once they moved in, I could tie up with her and continue the ranged barrage because she's so good for her points.
She's one of the better JLI pieces actually.
Yeah.
So the thing was, you might be saying there's not a whole lot of power on that team. You're probably thinking, well, you're not going to do much damage. The Batman Chase has enhancement. Black Canary has enhancement. I've got 3 running shot hammers to do damage with. Blackfire has penetrating explosion, or Starfire has penetrating energy explosion.
And the police team ability
and
on the 3 of the guys.
It's a pretty good team for what I was going with.
For Fear itself, especially when you're facing a bunch of bricks that you need
stealth's frustrating.
Yeah, that you need to cut down.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was proud of how I did. I had a fun tournament.
Austin, I'll let you talk about your team, and then I'll go into my.
So we talked about that. We talked about that Malekith last week. Harry was playing him, and I decided to go for Thor: Dark World with a Fear Itself booster. My Fear Itself booster pulled Serpent and Daenerys, which right off the gate I'm like, I know what 2 I'm running.
Yeah.
And then I open my Thor and I see that Malekith staring at me. And I'm like, oh, buddy, you're talking about a set where everyone's got good dampeners. I was like, this is perfect. So I ran all 3 of them. Malekith has a trait where if he hits somebody, that's before damage is dealt, they lose their defense powers till the end of your turn. So I ran that Malekith. I dropped him some good... There's 3 running shot hammers now with Nurkods. Dropped all 3 of them down, and I rained hell. My first match, I screwed up Malekith's trait, and it probably cost me the entire series of the game, because I forgot it was beforehand. So that means that like if you have Invul and I hit you, you wouldn't get Invul versus Malekith's hit. I got out-stealthed by Valkyrie at one point. It was just a pain-in-the-butt game. Rolls were bad, too. My second match was against Hunter's team, which I'll let him tell you about how embarrassing that was. And then the third match was against Harry. Harry's team was almost the exact same. Don't pat him on the back. He doesn't deserve that.
Hey, no one.
I was playing with a pretty damn severe handicap.
That was more than a handicap.
Nobody believed us. I was you were happened to get an actual team.
You were playing like a quadriplegic. Like that's not just a handicap. And then the last match was against Harry. Harry was running. He was running the Serpent and Daenerys as well, but instead of Malekith, he had Black Widow and who else was it? He had Black Widow and another piece. The Loki from the movie set. And that Loki, I hadn't seen that Loki yet, and it actually gave me a lot of trouble.
Yeah, when we did last week's podcast, I mentioned he was one of the ones I thought were the better of the guys.
Yeah.
That's the guy that can do the free pulse wave.
Yeah, that's what he did to me, and he blasted me. Me and Harry's game was pretty funny, actually, because it was pretty much a dance around the outside of the map till one of us managed to get Alpha Strike, which was me, because Harry mismoved his stuff. I was just waiting for it. I was like, that's how me and Harry's games always go. Is me and Harry are both like, oh, I'm going to position, and you just play, and you wait. And you wait for the other person to screw up a little bit, and then wham. In the end, he took the game. I made like 6 shape change rolls in a row, and I only had Daenerys left, and it was hilarious. But it was fun. I always enjoy playing as Harry. It's very cerebral games. Overall, though, it came down to like who could get the most damage off against like the big pieces. And once Malekith was down, it was pretty much game over for me.
I was not initially going to play because if I would have played, we would have had an odd number of people. So I sit out. If we have an odd number of people at the dugout and it's an official WizKids event like No Man's Land and Fear itself, then I sit out so that nobody has to take a bye. If we're doing a regular week and it's odd number of people, then I'll go ahead and play since it's a more friendly event and because I'd like to play every now and then. So I sat out, but then we had a guy who needed to leave after the first round. So I was like, well, crap, let me buy $20 worth of figures, build a team real quick to play so that we don't have to give anybody a bye. So I bought $20. First of all, there's 3 Batman 66 figures I still needed, and they're all rares. And in Batman 66, you get a rare 1 out of 3 figures. So I bought 8 Batman 66 figures, hoping I'd get one of those rares that I needed. I got 8 commons, first of all. But that's Hunter Smith luck for you. And then I built a 500-point Batman team. I barely could do it. I only had like 530 points worth of figures out of all of them anyways. So I ran like 470 with the book or something like that. And my first match, because I only played 2 because I set out the first one, like I said, was against Austin's team. I had 2 of the 100-point Batman. I had 1 50-point Robin. I had Dick Grayson, who's only 25 points, and he's amazing for 25 points. And I had 1 Riddler, 1 Shame, and 1 Catwoman, the common one, not the rare. And it was very fun to play those guys because they have so many different.
Yeah, they're really interesting.
There's so many unique abilities, and I did end up getting to use Death Trap in my second game. I'll talk about that in a minute, but it was very fun. I wasn't playing for serious, so I didn't care if I lost or not, and I really wanted to play the Riddler. And at first I tried to play semi seriously to see if I could even take down the Fear itself. First of all, Austin had an excellent team. My goal started out being to try to win the match, and then I quickly realized that my goal needs to be to just kill 1 figure because that's about the best I'm going to get done. Batman, the 2 Batman and Robin both got taken down quick. The Batman has a really cool defensive power. He's the one where whenever you target him with an attack, he chooses a color possessed on your dial, and he gets that defense ability.
Yeah.
That would have came in extremely useful, except the fact that the damn Malekith takes away your defense power.
Yeah.
So I was going to choose Invincible, and that would have been really useful, but
Yes, it would.
the Malekith negates that. So that was kind of a hard counter for those Batmans. That they did fare better in my second game. That power came in pretty handy. They got taken out quick, and I did at one point at the beginning of the game. This is where I basically gave up and said, okay, I'm going to try to kill 1 figure. I put all my eggs into the shame basket because
which is a horrible idea.
He had a good shot.
Was.
It would have hurt your Malekith pretty decently.
It was just funny because with a name like Shame, you knew something bad was going to happen.
Malekith he was already on second click and he had like a 17 invincible, and I had a way to hit him for 6, which if you can hit an invincible for 6, you go ahead and you take the chance, because hitting him for 3 is pretty hard to do, because even if you only hit it for 5, they're only going to take 2.
Yeah.
So I put all my perplexes, because this team did have a decent amount of perplexes. That Batman has perplex and outwit. He's actually a pretty legit figure.
Yeah, he is.
That he's not amazing, but for 100 points, I would suggest playing him once or twice just to have some fun with him to anybody. And that Robin as well for 50 points is very good. And we talked when we first spoiled those guys. Actually, that might have been our first episode, I think.
Yeah.
We talked about them and how they look pretty good for their dials. They are pretty good figures. I do suggest them along with the Dick Grayson for 25 points. He was excellent. But I put all my eggs into the shame basket, tried to running shot and hit for 6. All I needed was a 3, and I crit missed.
Oh my gosh.
And then after Shame does an attack, he has to roll, and if he rolls a 1 to 3, he takes a damage. I rolled a 1, so I took 2. And I was like, alright, fuck it.
It was a beautiful matinee of failure.
You shut up.
So after that, my goal was to play Riddler and click him onto his riddle click and just play riddles. So me and Austin basically made an agreement where he would save the Riddler, kill the Riddler last, and I would just riddle the rest of the game. So I had a lot of fun doing the riddle thing. The way it works is you take a KO'd figure, and it doesn't have to be yours, it can be theirs. You turn that figure to any, and this is a free action at the beginning of turn. You turn that figure to any click, not any non-KO click, and your opponent guesses what color. If they pick a color, basically, and if that color is showing on any of the powers on that click, then they guess the riddle right. If they guess the riddle wrong, then you get +1 combat values on the Riddler. And it's really fun.
My favorite part of it, though, was you picked, like, a color that, on Shame, it was, like, purple.
Oh, yeah. I picked Shame, and I put him on Sidestep and Willpower, because Austin hit him right past those clicks. So I was like, well, he has no idea that he gets Sidestep or Willpower.
And I guess purple, because I thought he'd get Close Combat Expert.
And I was like, why would Shame get Close Combat Expert?
I don't know. Those pieces are weird.
I was like, if you would have thought intelligently and picked Range Combat Expert, then you would have guessed wrong, and I would have been right. Anyways, the Riddler is a blast to play. I definitely suggest anybody play him one time just to play his riddle game, because it was so much fun. It's a game within a game.
I heard you had a fun little round with your second match.
Yeah, too. So I did manage to have Catwoman. That Catwoman wasn't too bad either, actually. I was getting lucky with Super Sense's roll with her, but she did mind control your Malekith and hit somebody for 4.
No, it was going to hit somebody. Yeah, you did, actually.
I hit Tannerus. And in my second game, she mind controlled and hit somebody. Or no, I crit missed on mind control, because that's what I do. But she had another chance to mind control Tyr and hit somebody for 4 exploit, and that would have... I may have actually legitimately could have won that game if I would have hit that. I needed a 4 and I rolled it a 3. I'm not using those dice anymore.
I don't blame you. Those dice were terrible, dude.
So, anyways, Catwoman was not too bad either. So I decided to switch out Shame and throw in the second Riddler that I had pulled, so I could just do maximum riddleness. So my last game, I played 2 Riddlers. I purposely pushed them onto their second clicks at the beginning, and I just riddled all day, and it was a blast.
Just riddled all day.
It was so fun.
Captured freaking Greedoth.
At first, all I had was little Robin to do with, and me and Dwayne basically went into this mind game where I would either keep him on the same click I made him guess last time, or I would click it to the other one, and basically it was one of those, is the coin in my right hand or my left hand? Like, am I trying to mine F you, or am I not? And he kept guessing wrong. It was so fun. You getting the riddle successfully really doesn't help me, because he has shitty values to begin with, and he has no movement
it's
attack.
Like it's required he hits the riddle to get decent.
He doesn't even get decent after he hits it, I'm telling you. I did give him running shot with a hammer, but I mean he has no powers to help him. He has no ways to get through damners. He has no outwit. He does have prop control top click, and then he gets perp for the rest of the dial, but He's a fun. Just doing the riddle thing was a blast. But I want to talk about that Dick Grayson. Because that 25-point Dick Grayson was probably the most productive piece on my entire team.
I can't believe for 25 points he was more than 3 clicks.
He's like 5 clicks.
I know.
Good clicks.
I blasted him for like 3. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this little bastard out of the way. No, he's still alive.
Well, and I talked about him a couple weeks ago because I played against a team that had all those pieces on it.
That's right, I remember
And
that.
I remembered that Dick Grayson being amazing because he alter egos for free action if he has no tokens.
Yeah.
And he's worth 25 points already. I'm going to bring up his dial here. This 25-point Dick Grayson single-handedly took down a 100-point Cronin Stoneman, which is a big, strong brick, by himself.
Nice.
He did have a hammer. Oh, and actually, he took down Mr. Freeze by himself, too, now that I think about it.
Jeez.
Dick Grayson killed Freeze by himself. He hit him twice, 1 for 3 damage and 1 for 2. And he killed Mr. Freeze. He actually did now that I think about it, excluding that mind control of our game, Dick Grayson is the only figure out of any of my figures that did any damage in my entire tournament. He gets exploit weakness for 2 clicks, and I was on +1 on the book, so I ended up hitting Stone Man for like 3, and then the next turn I hit him for another 3 and cut right through him. And like I said, after he had taken out Mr. Freeze, he was on CCE, and I had Steel Energy on the book, so he healed up, and then the next turn he exploited again and didn't have to take the push. But for the main reason he's also very good, his movement power. When a friendly character named Batman or Bruce Wayne is given a move action, after actions resolve, you may give Dick Grayson a move action as a free action. So as I'm moving my 2 Batman up, Dick Grayson is getting free moves the entire time from that as well.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how you got him up in the middle of all my guys.
I mean, even using him as a 25-point just annoyant, just pest for 25 points.
It's like
is
the
well
real
worth
Dick
it.
Grayson.
And another thing is, if they hit you for 4 or 5, they're going to hit you onto your free action revert and alter ego. And the Robin he changes to was the same one I was using. He's pretty good. He has flurry whenever you free action change into him, so he can hit back once you change back into Robin. So after using him, Catwoman did capture a 200-point Absorbing Man also.
Nice.
And held on to him for a good chunk of the game. She kept hitting Super Senses roll, and I kept perplexing her defense up. And she had Greygoth for the majority of our game. And like I said, she almost mind-controlled Tyr. All she needed was a 4.
All I know is I turned around at my table and I saw Greethoth on her card, and I was like, Dwayne, what did you do?
So the capture, he never tried to get out of the death trap though, which I was hoping he would because I wanted to do the, to figure out how all that works. My bonus would have been 5 because hers is the one where you count the different colors on your power and your dial and their dial, and I had like 5 different ones among us, so I would have got a +5, so it would have been pretty tough for him to get out. But it was cool. I mean, the death trap ability, kind of cool. I wish he could have escaped so I could tell you how smoothly it went.
Yeah.
Because like we've talked about that power, it's pretty complicated, the wording and everything on it. So I might try those guys again, at least maybe a couple of the villains, maybe run a villains team and try to do some capture. But I do recommend the Dick Grayson, the Bruce Wayne, the Batman, and the Robin, the common versions of all them, because they're very good for me. That Catwoman was not too bad either.
Everyone else, though.
I had a blast. That was the most fun I've had playing Clicks, just playing those 2 Riddlers and doing
Freaking
riddles.
Riddler was. It was fun to face against, too.
Yeah, it was a great event. I really liked my team.
I was like, damn, I didn't know I was playing mini games.
I'm going to run 7 Riddlers next time that we have
It was just like me and you were just like, we don't really care. Screw it. Streets of Gotham and Batman.
Oh, another thing to mention on the Robin and the Batman, they're the ones with the trait where any double 3, 4, 5s, or 6 are crit hits for them too.
Yep.
Which I did forget until into my last game. So that's enough of what we played. We're going to move on to our main topic, which is the Deadpool set. Like we said before, it's a 5-figure full set. Sub-themes of Thunderbolts, Deadpool Corps, Allies, and Enemies. So we already know that the Thunderbolts are going to be in it. So we already know we're getting a new Red Hulk, which we need. We're getting a new Flash Thompson Venom, which we most definitely
yeah.
need. We're getting a new Punisher, which I freaking love. And we're also getting a new Electro, which we really need because while
we haven't had one since
the Secret Invasion Electra, both versions are superb, but there is no modern Electra.
Yeah.
So this will give us a modern Electra as well.
Let's see.
I assume they'll do a red leader most likely.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Deadpool core, you can already expect that they're going to be in a Deadpool set if they do one. So that was kind of a gimme.
Deadpool, Lady Deadpool,
Kidpool, Dogpool.
Kidpool, Dogpool. I want a Hulkpool from the now.
I'll let you guys go first on which ones you would like to see. We already see a Domino, which is also a given for a Deadpool set.
Which makes me happy.
They already showed the Deadpool with the word bubbles like the flock of bats, which is cool. Dr. Bong, who's an obscure Deadpool villain, and Flash Venom. So those are already confirmed. And I read Deadpool a little more than you guys, so I don't want to go first. I want you guys to go because...
You want to show us up later, gotcha.
No, then I can cross off the ones that you already say, you know what I mean?
See, I've talked about I read World War Hulks before, and Hulkpool, and it's absolutely hilarious. Him and Bob back and forth. I want to see a Hulkpool, really good one. I want to see a Bob Agent of Hydra, of course, as a given. Give us another fun Bob. But I want to see the Blackbeard thing from that story arc. Just because it's a weird figure, and if they're going to put it in any of the sets, it would probably be the Deadpool set, 'cause it's going to be a weird set. There's a lot of fun stuff they could do. What about you, Drew?
I'm not a huge Deadpool fan. I don't read it a lot. Hunter's hitting me, but I want to. I'm just not a huge fan. I really don't know a lot about Deadpool actually, so I don't really.
The problem with Deadpool books is, for the last 5 years, they've been 99% garbage. I'm not being mean. It's just legit. Now, the current run that started with Marvel Now is hilarious.
And see, and this is what we've talked about before, is like, Deadpool's problem is he suffers from, like, the random factor, where some writers think that Deadpool's, I can say whatever, and if it's just random, it'll be funny. And that's not how it works. Deadpool actually is pretty well-written humor when it's done right.
Well, and there's two sides you see of Deadpool, too. When you're Rick Remender does a good job with him in Uncanny X-Force, where when he's not the main show, when he can be the half the time, like he makes it obvious that he's a badass assassin.
Yeah,
that's what he does. But he'll throw in the quip. He's the Spidey of the Avengers Squad.
And see, but
he'll throw on a way more dirtier quip than Spidey would ever throw on.
We've talked about like the current run of Thunderbolts and how we don't like it. But I have, like, Deadpool from time to time in it, because, like, Elektra and Punisher will be having, like, this super serious moment, and Deadpool will walk through the background wearing, like, a sombrero and say something absolutely stupid. But it's not super random, it's just tolerable, like, it's just
he's
witty.
Perfect in small doses.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with the Deadpool book is it has to be very well written, and the last run, which I have all these, if you guys want to borrow them, they're in the long box back there, the last big run of Deadpool before Marvel Now was Daniel Way's Deadpool, and it started off very good. The first arc or two were really good with the zombies and everything. But after that, it just kept going downhill and downhill. It did pick up. I felt it got a little better when he got admitted to the insane asylum and that whole arc happened. I started reading it a lot. I picked that book back up. That was right before they did the Marvel Now relaunch.
But like
Deadpool Merc with a Mouth was a good mini set not that long ago, but the best Deadpool is actually old, like early 90s Deadpool, like Circle Chase and the Kid Stories one, and there's a lot of really good older Deadpool books. I say older like forever ago, but really like 10 years ago.
And see, like, and as you said, when Deadpool's not in the forefront, I like him better. Like, I love him in the Deadpool team-up books, like with Cable and Taskmaster. That's when he's at his best. It's fun to put him with super serious people, and you can tell the super serious people hate him because he's useful and amazing at what he does, but he's such a goof-off in the downtime. But that's when he's at his absolute best. Like, I love him with Moon Knight, and I love him with Taskmaster, I love him with Cable. Like, I'm hoping we see those as duos in this set.
Well, they definitely, on my list, is a new Cable Deadpool duo.
Yeah.
That's kind of a given, I think. You can't do a Deadpool set and not have a Cable. I mean, either Cable by itself...
Especially with Cable being an LE and ABX.
Yeah, I want a duo for them to be redone because it's not modern anymore. Hitmonkey...
a lot of people
Hitmonkey's a new character that they introduced in... Like this... Right around when Daniel Way's Deadpool run started, Hitmonkey got his own book. And then there was the third arc of the Deadpool series was him and Hitmonkey cross paths, and it was hilarious. And Hitmonkey has never been clicked, so go ahead and click him for the Hitmonkey fans. We need a new Taskmaster.
Yeah.
And I would like it if he plays a little differently than the Chaos War one, because the Chaos War one is a good piece, but he's very finessey for one, and you kind of have to play around.
He's very meticulous when you play him.
You have to play a team with him in mind to get the most out of him, to get his points out of him.
Which can be kind of rough given his keywords, too.
So I'd like a Tasky that maybe is more offense-based so that you could throw him more easily on teams. And then if you want the Chaos War option, you have that as well.
I want a Chimichanga OP kit item.
We need a Paste Pot Pete.
I think they actually said, I think he's confirmed for it.
He's like one of Deadpool's most common villains, so I think he's pretty much a given. We need a new MODOK.
Oh, yeah,
there's no modern age MODOK, and this is a good way for them to get him in there.
Yeah. So here's the thing: what generics do you think they're going to do for this set? They always do 2 generics.
They could do AIM agents. They could do a new, different version of zombies. I mean, there's a ton
undead
of
presidents. They need to do the undead.
Dude, they could do dead presidents.
Because we were talking about that earlier. Because I was like, man, my zombie teams would kill for that.
Black Tom, I think, is one that they'll probably definitely do. He's a common Deadpool villain as well, and he actually was in it the right before it went to Marvel. Now he was
what I want? I want Deadpool in Tony's armor from the story arc where he goes back in time to the Demon in a Bottle time period.
Yeah. You brought up Moon Knight.
Yeah.
It would be nice to get a new Moon Knight. We did just get one in Spider-Man.
I like the Spider-Man
and that one is good.
But that's like the split personality one. I want like the really badass Moon Knight.
While I would like a Moon Knight, I wouldn't be super bummed if
I'd rather have a duo, though. I'd rather see a Deadpool Moon.
They don't team up a whole lot, though.
True. But...
Team X, that would be a good sub-theme for this. Although we did just get Lady Deathstrike. And I didn't notice... Let's see if she has the Team X keyword.
Did
she doesn't?
I don't think she does either. Or is there even a Team X?
I don't even think there is one.
Let's see. Oh, there is Maverick. Maverick is on my list as well. There's no way they won't redo Maverick. He hasn't been done since Mutation of Monsters. Maverick, Wolverine, Sabretooth. I'll have teamwork. That brings me to Sabretooth. There's no modern Sabretooth.
Yeah.
They did not put one in X-Men, and it has to be because they knew they would be putting him in there.
It's the same thing with Juggernaut. They put Juggernaut in the Invincible Iron Man.
Juggernaut's going to be Invincible Iron Man. They also didn't do a new Omega Red, and so they should do Team X. You got Sabretooth, Omega Red. I wish Lady Deathstrike, the new ones would have had the keyword.
I'm wondering, one thing I was going to bring up, they didn't note whether this would be a Super Booster set, and I wonder if they'll do Marvel vehicles with this set. Because, I mean, like, this
Punisher's Battle Van.
Punisher's Battle Van.
Oh, shit.
Punisher's Battle Van, and then the Deadpool version when Deadpool takes it.
And then Punisher's Battle Van.
There's some fun.
They could do Deadpool's ice cream truck from the current Marvel now.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad to do. I'd like to see like a bike pack with like all 3 of the motorcycles and stuff like that from the main, like Logan's motorcycle and Caps and all them.
I wanted to put Blind Al and what's his name, Jimmy or whatever, who are 2 extremely important Deadpool characters to his origin. And Blind Al is in and out of Deadpool books all the time. It's kind of like his mother. But I just don't see how you could do them as cliques because they don't fight. They're just characters in the story. So I don't know if they'll actually do Blind Al.
They gave Lois Lane
I was
the
about
best support
to say
pieces.
Lois
Yeah,
Lane.
but that makes sense because she's a reporter, so you could think of Perplex or Outwit or something like that.
Yeah.
But Blind Al doesn't.
Maybe they could just make
He's blind.
Okay, it's a Deadpool set. They could do a full white Dial with a figure, and we probably wouldn't even just...
those are some of the simple ones. Domino, I knew would be in it. They've already shown
I'm very
a slide.
happy they're doing a new
So
Domino.
she's already confirmed, and there is no modern version of her.
Yeah, there is not.
So that'll be good. That's the main ones I'd like to see. I would have, of course, said Deadpool Core, but we already are, confirmed for that.
So what do you think the chases are going to be?
That was going to be my next question.
They're playing it up like it's a big deal.
You guys said earlier Dead Presidents. I don't
think Dead Presidents will be the chase.
That was an awesome story arc. That's if you guys haven't read it, that's the Marvel Now. The first run or the first story arc is Deadpool fighting the Dead Presidents that got brought back by the stupid S.H.I.E.L.D. agent guy.
Has there ever been an alternate universe story with the Avengers all Deadpool?
I don't know. What I think they should do, and I'm sure this isn't what they're going to do, but they should do a morph mechanic with Deadpool. And there should be 5 different, let's say there's 5
personalities.
Jasons. 5 different Deadpools. You could have Pirate Deadpool, who has like blades and flurry. Like you could have you could have like Zombie Deadpool and Pirate Deadpool, and they can morph into each other.
Yeah, as I've said before, like I love the morph mechanic. That would actually be awesome.
Yeah, I love morph as well. And Deadpool has so many personalities. Like that would be a fun way to
just
do
like
it.
all of a sudden he smacks you and goes from pirate to construction worker, and then he's got a lead pipe. Oh my gosh, that would actually be awesome. It's going to be a weird set, and I'm really looking forward to spoiler season for it. Because I get the feeling every week we're going to be yelling, oh shit, at each other in text on freaking Facebook. You gotta see the new spoiler.
It's going to be fun because this is a set, and this is a smart one for them to do too, because they can throw whatever the hell they want to throw Marvel-wise in this set, and it'll be fine.
Thunderbolts are going to sell it to begin with. Like, people who are just Thunderbolts fans and not even big Deadpool fans are going to buy it. People who are Deadpool fans love it. People who love both are going to buy freaking 2 cases of it, Harry. And then, like... freaking it's a great idea. They dump all the extra figures that they needed to finish and all the cycles, like teams that they didn't get done. And I think from what you pointed out here with the Team X stuff, I kind of want to go through and see what team abilities they added with Wolverine and the X-Men that are weird now, and see if that hints at some of the stuff in Invincible Iron Man.
I will be very bummed if there's not Team X pieces in that set, because that's the perfect... You need a new Sabretooth and you need a new Omega Red.
Yeah, that's a perfect fill-in. That explains a lot of why neither of them were seen, because...
If he's not in a trench coat, you're throwing this entire set out the window.
And it's like Drew flipped out over that Omega Red. He's like, I want an Omega Red so bad in Wolverine and the X-Men. And then he was on all of our lists, and then they didn't print one.
They did not.
Well, let's move into community. We got our best build teams picked. First of all, we had lots and lots of submissions.
Dear God.
30 in all, I think.
Jeez.
It was a hard choice.
If your team doesn't get brought up, it absolutely does not mean it wasn't a good submission. It just means
we had 30 to choose from.
We have a lot to choose from. And today we went through all of them, and we each chose our specific team, and we tried to choose different ones, not same versions of the like each playing a Thor family team or anything. I would say, as far as the teams that we got submitted, there were a lot of
ton of Asgardian.
There are a lot of Asgardian ones.
A lot of Superman.
There were 2 versions of Superman that I got. There was the Superman, the Jor-El, and the Kara Supergirl, or I got versions of Superboy, Lex, and Superman, which is really cool because they all share blood, which was one of the stipulations. So I got I think 3 different people sent me that kind of team. We got an Inhumans team, which Austin ended up picking.
Yeah, I couldn't resist. I saw that and I was like, Inhumans is all about family.
Austin chose People Surfers, who also, I think he's in our Dial Design contest as well, I'm pretty sure. Did he win one? I think he got close to winning one.
He almost won.
I actually picked one of his builds the first time we did this contest.
Actually, did he win? I think he was the guy who made the Superman Bruce Wayne team, wasn't he?
I'll have to look. He might have. So Austin's playing his team. It's Black Bolt. It's not the main Black Bolt. It's the Skrull Black Bolt, by the way.
I know, which is going to be fun.
Crystal, Medusa, and 75-point Ronin with the Gamma Bomb. Oh, what a surprise! Austin picked the Gamma Bomb team.
I looked at that team. I was like, man, I love Black Bolt, but I haven't played that Black Bolt.
Get out
and
of
then
here.
I was going up there. I was like, I love Crystal. That'll be a fun piece to play. And then I saw that Gamma Bomb. Was like, I'm done.
Drew.
I love Gamma Bomb.
No one loves you. Congratulations.
God, Drew's a little salty.
Drew's going to be
Not
playing.
really.
We got a couple Hulk teams, and Drew picked one of them. It is Kyra, 015 Scar, and 201 Incredible Hulk from the Incredible Hulk Gravity Feed, and that Hulk has the utility belt and the cowl. And that was actually submitted by our friend Harry, who also competes in our contests and stuff too. I was actually eyeballing that team.
I was eyeballing that team too.
So Drew grabbed that one. So I ended up getting King's Disciples team. It is Tabap Thor, who I've been wanting to try. Fear Itself Loki with 30 point dial, and the utility belt actually on the 30-point Loki to give him willpower and let him do his move and attack with no negative.
Yeah.
Be a kind of a little pest. The starter set Sif, which when we did our review, I liked her a lot. And Tyr, of course, from Fear Itself. I mean,
Tyr, yeah.
Everybody knows how gay we are for Tyr here on the show. So, I was pretty happy with that team, and I'm going to bust that out. Thank you guys to all our submissions. Like I said, we got tons. We got a couple that were like Deathstroke teams. One really cool one was I didn't even think about was Colossus Magic and Mikhail Rescue.
Yeah, that was the other one I really thought about.
I really thought about playing
but
that
I
one
don't
too.
have a Mikhail Rasputin.
I know. I don't think any of us have a Rasputin yet, but I could borrow one from somebody if we needed it.
Yeah.
Swagnito had a cool team of Quicksilver, Crystal, Scarlet Witch, and Hollywood. That would have been cool too. And
we were asking questions about that earlier because I was like, Hollywood's really?
The boys learned that Hollywood is Wonder Man. They didn't know that, so thank you, Swagnito, for educating Austin and Drew.
We don't get good education. In public schools.
So those will be the teams we'll be running. We will be playing them next Saturday at the Dugout. So when we come in to do our recording for next week's podcast, we will be able to tell you how we did and who was the winner. As far as the dial design contest, we just finished week 2.
Oh my gosh, there's so many good submissions. This is going to be a very difficult contest.
We already went over kind of the teams that have been submitted. We're going to go through on our free time behind the scenes, and we're going to grade all the dials. And then after week 3, we will post all those scores up for you guys. And then on week 4, you're going to be submitting your team base, and then we will score those as well, and then get all the totals added in. I got my Future Foundation team base done. If anybody wants to see, I got the whole thing on there now. Of course, Austin and I are not
eligible for
we're not eligible to win. We're just doing it for fun. But
I'm doing Winter Guard.
Austin did Winter Guard. I don't think yours completely done yet, is it?
No, I've got 2 characters and I've been kind of taking them slowly.
Austin's halfway through his. I got mine done. I had to, as a way of bypassing the 7 maximum characters rule, I had 2 duos. But both of them are super cheap, like 50, 40 points.
Yeah.
Because the Future Foundation is a lot of little kids
that are pulling a Mary and Pippin here? Yeah.
One of them was like 40. I did make one of them a meta piece. The Leech and Artie duo is really good.
I noticed that.
It's and if they did a piece like, I was pretty happy with how they turned out. I kind of just freestyled them as I was going through, like thinking about the kids, and I love Future Foundation and Fantastic Four, of course. And I was, after I got done, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, I would love to have these figures. I hope you guys enjoy them, especially if you're big fans of Fantastic Four.
I've had a blast with. I did the Crimson Dynamo, but I did like the older, beefier Crimson Dynamo, and not like the modern like Iron Man like one. So like I gave him like rocket boots, and he basically just destroys terrain. He shoots through walls and blows it all up. And then I had Swagnito help me out because I hit a wall working on Vostok, because Vostok, I know Winter Guard's not too popular, but Vostok's like a almost like a technopath. Like he can mind control technology and morph it however he needs it. So like we did a thing where he can mind control objects, and then the objects can pick a power until the mind control resolves. So like you can do all kinds of fun little tricks with that. I love dial design. Like if you guys have never done a dial design, dive in, give it a shot. I mean, like it's so much fun. I would recommend it to anybody. It's addictive.
On my team base, I went ahead and did the whole team base. I didn't really know how to do it because they're not super the kids are not powerful, except for Franklin and Val. But the thing about them is they just have so much potential. So one good way I ended up doing, really my team base itself, as far as values and powers, pretty weak. But I tried to put in there ways of giving them potential, like rolling, and if you hit a certain roll, you can use these many values, pick a power for this. It's more about their creativity and their intelligence. Yeah. They get a lot of perplexing outwit. They get a lot of controlling
manipulation and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of manipulation. Like Val, she's a builder. If you read the books, she's kind of an inventor, and she has like powers that represent that. And so my team, the Future Foundation team base, it's cheap. It's kind of like New Mutants, and it's meant to be played in as almost like a big support group for your team. And I would love to build it.
All this team-based discussion reminds me of a piece of news actually that we didn't talk about. If it kind of has been discussed in the background, it hasn't really been brought up much. The team bases for AVX are not going to be traditional team-based style with their asset dials.
I forgot about that.
Instead of having the pieces in the asset dial with faces, each slot has a number, and the asset dial has numbers on it. So you will be able to swap the people on the bases. So the base holds 5 characters. The starter set comes with 6, which everyone thought was weird to begin with. So we're wondering if the AVX LEs that everyone pretty much gets from both sides are actually going to be team-based characters. So switch clicks that you could put. So like Black Panther and Cable might actually be placeable on those bases. So it's kind of like it brings the team building back to team bases, which was a big complaint, I know, particularly between us, was that team bases were a one-man army. At least now you have to actually pick and choose who you want for what asset tricks and stuff. So, I mean, it's better. I wouldn't say it's fixed, but I like the idea and I like the way they're going with it, especially for larger teams like Avengers where you have, like, freaking 64 members.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get future, even in different sets in the future, making them switch clicks and being able to be...
And I love that idea. I mean, like, if anyone with kids listening, kudos on that one. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Email-wise, we got a couple emails. One's from Ron Messbarger, which we bought some dice from him at Gen Con.
Yeah.
He's the one who came... I think we were in line for Battle Royals. He came by, and his were very high quality, but they're price-wise, they were a little more expensive. But they were extremely well done. I got those Fantastic Four dice from him pretty cheap, though.
I think that's who I got my Thunderbolts dice off.
Yep, you got your Thunderbolts. Ricky Ricky really wanted those Heroes for Hire dice. They were very, very nice.
Yeah, but they were a bit pricey for him.
He also has been submitting teams on our best builds and our dial design contests under King's Disciple. Yeah. Actually, I think didn't I pick his team? I picked his team for our best build this week. He makes quality wise very good.
It's not like
very good high quality dice. And they, for Breast Cancer Month, this month they are donating a large chunk of their profits to breast cancer research.
Yeah, there's my Thunderbolts dice in that.
And he has a link to the research and everything, and to his dice. So if you guys are interested in buying some of these dice, like I said, this month he said that they are donating, I forget how many % of the profits this month to breast cancer research. You can email him at probcontrol@gmail.com. and tell them that we sent you, and he said if people mention that they heard it on the podcast, they could get free shipping as well, for this month for the breast cancer thing.
I might have to hit him up actually and get those Illuminati dice.
So if you guys want to check out his stuff, shoot him an email. His name's Ron Messbarger, probcontrol@gmail.com, and support them. Very good, high quality dice.
Yeah. Indeed. It's not like crappy paint that peels off after a few uses. Like, it's carved in. The paint's really high quality stuff. There's no chips or anything on mine yet, and I've used the living crap.
And you're also supporting a good cause as well.
Yeah.
Harry had a question. He emailed us a Pierce Theory. Do we think the Dark World 408's power was meant to be broken or just a simple mistake on WizKids' part?
Are you talking about the Horde tokens?
So he's talking about the Horde token in the Dark World starter set. Let me bring it up here so I can mention so people can see exactly the one that I'm talking about.
Me and Harry had a good laugh at this one when it first got spoiled.
I think it's the Dark Elf Scout. Okay, it's Thor: The Dark World 008 Dark Elf, and when it is maxed at 6, which would cost you 60 points. When stacked, Dark Elf can use Empower. When maxed, close combat attacks deal penetrating damage.
Now, I want you to stop and think about what's wrong here.
Now his question is, now the way this is worded, it would be any close combat attack during the entire game.
Yours, opponents.
Yours, theirs, not Dark Elf's
A third
attacks.
party runs over and punches one of your clicks off the table.
So he's asking, do we think that they did that on purpose, or do we think that that's simply a kind of an error, and it should specify when Dark Elf's close combat attacks?
I think it's definitely an error. Like, that's too...
I thought it was an error at first. However,
60 points.
I think the fact that they have Empower and that they're supposed to be helping the rest of your team do close combat attacks, I'm wondering if they aren't just retarded and they didn't really just do this like that.
But
Seriously.
it seems weird that it would be all close combat attacks, like Enemy 2. Like, if you're going to be Empower and have a character that's buffing allies, why would you help the enemies?
Well, I think it probably is a mistake because of the fact that it's only when they're stacked. I think they kind of assume that because it says when maximum stacked close combat attacks, that you would assume it's referring to the Dark Elf, but they definitely need a little errata in there that says when Dark Elf close combat attacks deal penetrating.
Yeah, I mean, like, right now, I would take 60 points for these, slap them on a team with Imperial Guard, and go to town with that flurry freaking... Make sure it's penetrating. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely needs erratas immediately.
It's like the Jets having no range and having running shot.
So, interesting note. If you're going to run these guys, I would contact your judge ahead of time and ask him how he's going to rule it. That way you can't be upset whenever he rules it the rational way. But, yeah, I mean, literally, though, rules-wise, it would
it's a gray area.
Rules-wise, all attacks would deal penetrating damage. So if you do plan on running these guys, I would ask your judge ahead of time just to prevent any problems. That's what I would like people to do if they were going to play it at my venue. I'd like them to ask me ahead of time on stuff like that. I forgot to mention that King's Disciple also emailed us a question. He was asking, with all the comics that we read, he was hoping to get some feedback from how we liked the new S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show.
Now, I've been watching this. I got all the episodes the other day, and I watched through all of them. Have you guys watched it yet?
No.
I'm waiting until... I mentioned this... I don't think I mentioned it on the podcast, but I don't like to watch TV shows until there's like almost at least a whole season, and then I like to watch them all in a row. I don't like to piecemeal.
Usually that's how I am too, but like with all the hype around, I want to check it out. I mean, I'm subbed to the subreddit for it and all that stuff. It's good. Don't go into it expecting it to be like more superhero-y. Expect it more like, I don't want to say X-Files-ish, but it's like it's kind of like, oh, we have this team of people and we're looking into weird stuff. Like that, leave it at that. And like, leave your expectations at the door, as we've said before. I enjoy it. I'm going to keep watching it every week. I have fun with it. I've recommended it to people like my mom watches it. Like, she's not too big into the superhero movies, but she enjoys them. She's loving the show so far. I feel like it wasn't aimed at comic book nerds specifically, but there's been some stuff in the recent episodes that kind of like hint towards like possible future movie content and stuff. So I mean, like it's something to keep an eye on. I'm looking forward to seeing where Joss goes with it.
I have heard a couple people say they like it, and a couple people say they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it myself yet, but I plan to pretty soon. I'm definitely optimistic about it, and I hope it turns out well.
Coulson's awesome in it, of course.
I hope it opens the door for some more shows to be done. I'm super psyched about the Flash show that's going to be happening.
That'll be neat.
On
I need to
WB.
watch Arrow.
I do too, but I'm going to wait until the current season's over, then I'm going to go through and watch it all. That's it for Community. We're going to move into comics. First, since we were talking about Deadpool today, I wanted to talk about Deadpool's Marvel Now run. Have you guys read any?
I haven't started it yet.
Okay. Like I said earlier, the current run is one of Deadpool's best comics right now. It's a new creative team. I think it's Doug Dugan and Posen on art. The art's excellent. Writing is excellent. The first arc is the Dead President's arc. It's absolutely hilarious. Ben Franklin is a ghost that helps them instead of, he's not one of the presidents that they're trying to kill, and he is, my God, he's hilarious. The book's very well written. The humor is perfect. And then after the first arc, in the first arc, there's this S.H.I.E.L.D. agent named Agent Preston. She's this black woman who's kind of funny, but she's more serious. She's kind of like the stable one out of the group. and she gets trapped in Deadpool's body with, I won't spoil it because I'd like for you guys to read it because it's hilarious.
Okay.
And I have all the issues if you guys want to borrow them. She gets trapped in Deadpool's body, so the second arc is all about trying to get her out.
Oh,
And Deadpool is fighting against.
So Deadpool becomes a sassy black woman.
Deadpool, yeah. And instead of Deadpool's own voices in his head, it's always Agent Shield's, and he has conversations with her. But of course, everybody thinks he's talking to himself. And then he'll he'll go up to talk to her family and channel her through and freak the kids out and everything. Anyways, there's also a storyline going on with Mephisto, who is trying to gain
Control of Hell.
Control of Hell through making deals with the devil. It's
does
really
this
cool.
branch off of Circle of Four?
No.
Okay.
No, this is way after Circle of Four.
Well, because I know that, of course, back then, that was most of the Thunderbolts.
Circle of Four was 2.5 years ago, and this was about a year ago.
Yeah, see, the reason I bring it up, though, is because,
Actually, no, it's not Mephisto. It's a lower level guy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, my
Because
bad.
I was going to say, I know Ghost Rider's joining the Thunderbolts soon. There's been a lot of stuff about that lately.
But it's about that, and it's also absolutely hilarious and has an awesome conclusion. And it's just a very well done book. It's way better than Daniel Way's run that was over the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm very optimistic about it. I was reading them all in issue. Actually, I have been picking them all up in issue form. The last few I've been downloading, but I definitely recommend it, even to new Deadpool readers. Deadpool, you don't have to know much about him. You can jump right into the books, and you don't have to know his backstory or anything like that to enjoy the books.
And as I said earlier, even though we're kind of losing love with the recent Thunderbolts run, it's gone to shit. I've really liked Deadpool in it.
I don't think it's gone to shit. I think it started out shit. It's been shit the whole time.
And the thing is, the premise is...
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
The premise is alright. They could have done so well with that premise.
The team is top tier. The team is perfect.
Without super spoiling anything, the idea is Ross goes, I'll do one mission, or if you guys do one mission for me, I'll do a mission for each of you, and the rest of the team will help. So, it's kind of a you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Great premise.
I'm not sure how you take the lineup that they have and the premise
and throw it off a cliff
and totally F it up.
Who is it?
The art, I don't even know. The art is probably one of the worst art runs I've ever seen on any book.
They have reverse face shading. It's so weird.
And it's funny, when we were at Gen Con in one of my Lord of the Rings tournaments, I was talking to my opponent, and after he had Thunderbolts dice, and we were talking about Thunderbolts and everything, and he's like, "Are you reading the current Thunderbolts?" And I said, "Are you? How are you liking the current Thunderbolts?" And he was like, it's shit." And I was like, "How about that art?" He's like, "God, it's the worst art of any book." And I was like, "Okay, I just wanted to let you talk before."
What's funny about it is it has some of the best cover art. I've loved the cover art for all these issues, but once you get into the books, it's terrible.
That art is pretty bad.
It's very simple. There's not a lot of shading. There's not a lot of color. It's cartoony without being cartoony.
Yeah, and to me,
it's very rubbery looking. I don't like it.
It's the faces that really pull me out of it, though. The faces are just so bad.
But anyways,
oh my gosh, that guy getting shot looks so terrible.
It actually does. I think the storyline's getting slightly better, and I think that's more because or at least I'm enjoying it more. Excuse me. I'm enjoying it more because it's shifting into a Punisher style storyline right now.
Okay.
With the crime family. Are you reading it right now?
No, I haven't. Okay. I haven't got caught up.
The last few issues have been cool. It kind of is Punisher's side of. Basically, they have this agreement where they each do one mission. Yeah. Well, it's Punisher's mission right now, and I really like it because I love Punisher. And
As I said, I love that premise, that idea, and with that team, those are some of my favorite characters. And I love the writing's fine.
It would be
to a point.
It's okay. It would be cool if they threw a whole new creative team on it. It kept the current roster and just let somebody really talented go to town with this roster.
The things you could do with this team are just ridiculous.
I've
loved Deadpool in it though. He's the one character I have enjoyed almost consistently. Because, as I said before, he's a foil to how super serious everyone else is at all times.
And his huge crush on Elektra is
just so damn funny. Every time he hits on her, I lose it. Because, I get, that Spider-Man feeling about him, kind of, with the stuff he says. Oh man, I love it.
Yeah, I love Deadpool too, man. Drew, we got to get you into some Deadpool books, man.
All right.
You guys been reading anything otherwise?
I've been
Anything new?
trying to get my collection up to date so I can just sit down one night and just go through everything.
No.
I've been reading a lot. I finished 100 Bullets.
How was the ending?
The ending, it's not bad.
Not as good as the ride.
It's just I had so much. Yeah, it's not as good as the ride. Exactly. The mid part of it is like the sweet spot when you're first learning all the new characters that are getting thrown at you real fast. And man, it's a great series. I still highly, highly recommend it to anybody, especially if you're a fan of like street level books.
It is pretty good.
It ends pretty well. It's just it was a little confusing. I want to kind of go on to, if I have some time, because I just finished it last week. I haven't had time, but I like to go on to some forums or something, like some comic forums, and talk with some people about what they're, how they see things, and kind of maybe getting some more information onto what I'm missing. But it's a very well done book, and I highly recommend it.
That's one thing I've actually really enjoyed doing lately with comics as I read them, is not just with you guys, but going on to like the subreddits for specific comics or brands. And just talking, like, speculating and stuff. Like, it's fun to see some of the crazy ideas other people come up with, as obscure and stupid as they could be. But it's always fun to sit and chat. Like, if you guys ever have any, like, comics you'd recommend or anything, like, shoot us an email. Like, we love hearing suggestions or how you feel about certain arcs.
I just started Chew. Have you guys ever read Chew?
Everyone keeps suggesting it to me.
Okay. Back when I first moved up here, Chew had just won the Eisner for like best new series or something.
I've been reading about it a lot.
So I remember back when I still going to Comic Carnival, I picked up one of the issues.
Oh God, I miss Carnival.
It was like and that place was such shit compared to Rob's.
But it was like the only place at the time that I can remember.
Yeah, it was.
I picked up like a random issue right in the middle of an arc or something, but I remember thinking, this is a really cool book, and one of these days I'd like to go back and get all the trades. So I had the trades on my want list, but I decided to download it and try it out. I'm about halfway. I think they're currently on like issue 35 or something. It's in its third year, about to finish its third year. I'm about halfway through, and I love it. It gets better as it goes. For those of you who don't know the premise, Tony Chu starts off as a detective in like the NYPD.
Sold.
He has a really cool, smart and funny partner. It's a comedy book for one. Number one, it's a comedy book. Number two, it's kind of pretty interesting.
Is it a buddy cop story?
Sort of. It's a pretty interesting premise. It's an extremely interesting premise, but the storyline is pretty interesting too. And the art is fantastic. The art is very colorful, but it's monochromatic, but it'll switch almost from page to page, and it kind of sets the mood in a way that kind of tricks your mind. You don't even realize it. The art is extremely well done.
That makes me happy because East of West kind of does that, where
yes,
it shifts.
It actually does feel a little bit like East of West art-wise.
I love how East of West does that, where like the tone,
but it's still kind of cartoony. Yeah. But it fits the theme of this book because the book doesn't take itself seriously. You know what I mean? So Tony is the whole book series is very food based. Like all their kind of superpowers, not really superpowers, but all the powers are based around food. Tony's is when he eats something, he sees the life and facts of the thing that he ate. So if he eats a hamburger, he'll see in his mind, he'll like relive the cow being born and then being put through the meat grinder and all the like trauma that it went through. So he's a vegetarian, of course. And there's kind of this like hidden running joke that he only eats beets because beets have like no soul or anything. And but in order to solve crimes, he'll have to eat things to find out things. Like if they find a severed finger, like he'll have to bite and swallow the finger and like find out the story. And anyways, his partner. God, I don't want to ruin that either because that's a funny spoiler. Basically, his partner he gets promoted into the FDA. Oh, I'm forgetting. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I know I'm rambling because this is a really funny book.
Now I gotta read it.
The premise of the book too is not only does Tony have this cool power, but in this modern day world, all chicken is outlawed in the United States, and that is because a Asian bird flu hit a few years back that was so bad that like 15% of the world population died from it.
Oh,
and especially in the United States. So the U.S. government bans chicken completely. And now chicken is basically what drugs are. Like, chicken is heroin. And you have chicken dealers instead of, like, drug dealers. And the FDA is now basically what the CIA is now these days for us. The FDA is like the big organization, like the go out and kill people and stop, like,
It's
chicken
like the
dealers.
tobacco firearms.
Yeah,
Or,
it's awesome.
Alcohol, tobacco, and
And
firearms.
he gets promoted. Like this guy finds out that he has that power, so he promotes him into the FDA, and he becomes like a secret agent, like a special agent. And oh my god, it's so hilarious. But you find out more as far as the storyline about what's going on, and it kind of is. You think maybe there's a conspiracy theory that it really wasn't bird flu that caused the thing, and the government's like hiding, like there's a big government cover up. It's really cool. Their characters are hilarious. His buddy cop is hilarious.
That's
it's
good.
such a great book.
I feel like I want a comic right now. I read so many like super serious comics right now. Like I feel like Deadpool and Chew are two things I would like
can
to
see
pick up.
people not liking it though. Is the weird thing. It's going to be one of those books that you hate it or love it. I think, and just because it's very hyper stylized, you're either going to love it or hate it. But give it a try for sure. I'm really liking it a lot. It cracks me up. And it'll be fun to talk about with you guys if you do end up liking it. That's going to be the next thing I read right now, and then I'm going to get into the Manhattan Projects, which is one of Hickman's other side
I want to read
books.
DMZ.
You should read DMZ.
I used to read Gods and Monsters DMZ. That was a good little run.
Yeah, see, DMZ is one of those things that like I got linked to it on Wikipedia one day by like jumping around through topics. I think I was reading about Unknown Soldier at the time. Which Unknown Soldier, oh my god! If you haven't read Unknown Soldier, the current or the most modern run, read that trade paperback or all those trade paperbacks. They're amazing books.
There's only 4 of them, and they're really cheap.
Yeah, they're really good. But I ran into DMZ and like the premise seems cool, and I really want to check it out. And it's on my list.
It's pretty cool. Fiona does the art for that. The girl on Saga.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was her.
Yeah,
actually.
she's very good.
Well, then now I definitely want to... Gosh, dang it, there's too much crap to read and not enough time.
I don't keep up with DMZ just because it's its own little world and it's very complex, and I have enough stuff to read right now. But it is a pretty good book.
Have you read Why the Last Man?
Not yet. Hunter recommended
You
it.
should read.
I have all the trades in there.
Yeah, no, I need
You
to.
should read Why.
Actually,
Gosh,
there's
dang
a
it,
couple
watch
that I haven't read, the last ones. Anyways, let's move into video games. Pokemon came
So
out.
before my battery died a minute ago, I've been sitting here playing Pokemon the whole podcast. If you didn't catch the little soundbite that kicked on earlier by accident.
I want to go play it. Let's hurry
We're
up.
big Pokemon fans. Drew hasn't been quite as into it as Austin and I have been our entire life.
It's like my secret
I
vice.
Yeah.
In its prime, I was very into it.
People don't really understand to a point how like in depth the games actually really get.
And
like,
addictive.
Yeah,
the
like
games really get.
the meta side of it actually is really cool. Like there's a lot of team building. There's a lot of cool stuff with that.
Check out our podcast.
Yeah. Dude, I'd love to do a Pokemon podcast. Talk about that the other day.
Yeah, Austin and I grew up playing Pokemon cards against each other like all the time, and
and Aaron-
having Pokemon battles.
Me and Aaron had Red and Blue. We got every like Christmas that one of them came out. I'd get one version, Aaron would get the other, and we just play them nonstop.
We've been playing. Austin and I have been playing Pokemon off and on since the dawn of time.
I don't know if you remember or not, but around Christmas time, before Pokemon came to the States, there's this commercial of all Pokemon on a bus.
I thought you were going to mention that commercial. That commercial was awful.
And I was just like, what the hell is this? I gotta have it. I was like, Mom, Pokemon. She's like, what the hell is Pokemon? I'm like, Pokemon.
But for those of you, if you haven't played a Pokemon game before, I mean, obviously the thing's catered at like a certain age gap to a point. It's very cutesy on the front. But the mechanics, the background stuff, it gets really deep. The stories are alright. Like, the stories are never really anything amazing. But the characters are interesting. It's fun. And it's definitely, like, X and Y is the best place to start out. If you own a 3DS, from what I've played of X and Y so far, start out now. Like, just grab a copy. It's $40 usually.
I'm only an hour into it, but it already is blowing my mind how much of a jump in quality it is from the last Pokemon.
And see, like, the way Pokemon works is, like, every generation they add, like, another 100 Pokemon. So the first one was 150, then it's 250, then 350, then 450. Well, with this new version, it used to be you'd have to import from the old games and stuff like that. So, like, if I had Red and Blue, I'd have to get a certain Pokemon from Red to get it on Blue, and I'd have to, if I was playing Gold and Silver, I'd get them from Red and Blue. starting with X and Y, you can get almost every single Pokemon from the first 5 generations between these two games. So, I mean, like, we have a lot of... If you're new to the series, if you haven't picked one up, if you're looking for something good that you can throw in a handheld and bring around and play, and you have a 3DS, I would recommend it in a heartbeat. Especially, like, HeroClix fans, I think, could get a kick out of it with the team-building aspects and all the elements and all that stuff.
One thing that I've always... I think a reason that it's so easy to to play Pokemon off and on throughout your life is also because it's so easy to play while you're doing other things.
Yeah.
I can be...
It's like Netflix. You just do it while you're doing other crap.
Like, I'll be doing laundry, and I can sit, run back and forth, pull up a battle. I can grind.
Yeah, it's turn-based.
You can grind, and you can set it down and leave it running without anything getting effed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very easy and pick up and play.
Yeah, the battle system is kind of like the Final Fantasy games and stuff like that, where it's turn-based, you make a move, they make a move. So, I mean, like, if you let it sit for freaking 45 minutes and go do something else and come back, it's still right where you left.
You don't have to be 100% focused on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Basically. You can be doing other things and still, get progress done on your game.
And it's... The community is hit or miss. Like, of course, it's got like the weird, creepy fanatics for it, but like, there's a lot of really smart people, a lot of really intelligent like team builders and stuff.
There's a lot of math involved in it when you get into a ton of math.
And then when you get into
formulas.
like breeding to try to get specific like traits and stuff like that on your Pokemon, it's just absurd.
Anyways,
I've dumped thousands of hours into these games.
We'll be playing. Oh yeah, we'll be playing that a lot, and might talk about it time to time. I started playing Chivalry for the first time, and
Aaron told me, and I laughed so hard.
Man, I can't believe I waited this long to play this game because I open it up and I don't know what I'm doing, and it's like, okay, do you want to be an archer, a knight, a this or that? And I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, and I click on one, and there's like 5 different weapons to choose from and 3 different side weapons. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I pick my big axe, and I'm like, all right, and then I go into the game, and it's like...
the corpse card.
It's like pillage the town and burn 12 peasants, and all my guys are like rushing in and like banging on their shields and they're like, yeah, burn the fucking city down, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. What is going on right now? And like we're just like rushing in and freaking killing knights and setting peasants on fire, and then it's like push the creative explosives up to the enemy gates, and you're like pushing your gates, and you're just fight. It's just like a real life battlefield.
It's a first-person medieval combat game.
It is.
It's kind of like Skyrim in regards to like how it looks. Like you're sitting there, you see your arms.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, and the combat's very realistic. Like you parry.
Oh, extremely.
You parry. You have stamina.
It is very...
it's very skill intensive.
Yeah, skill intensive. That's perfectly what it is. Like, I get my ass kicked.
But I know the thing that I love about it, and I love games like this, I love games where you see yourself getting better the more you play.
Yeah,
Chivalry.
The reason Dark Souls is one of my absolute best games ever made is for that purpose. You feel yourself getting better as you play it. And I could tell right off the bat that Chivalry was going to be like that.
Yeah, we picked it up. We were at a LAN party, had like 10 of us there. And we threw up a Chivalry server. You haven't played the arena map still, have you? The arena map is like...
it outside in grass?
No, it's a small map, and it's got like crowds cheering in the stands. And there's like a few pillars, but there's like traps and walls of spikes everywhere. And you have a kick button, right? So like, you'll take someone, he'll be fighting a knight, and he'll have his shield up defending, and you'll kick his shield, and he'll go right back into the spikes, or you'll kick him into a pit. Oh, it's so much fun. And with like 10 of us at a LAN party yelling and screaming as we're cutting each other's heads
off. It is
off.
such a blast. I highly recommend it. It's only like $10. Just go to YouTube, type in Chivalry Medieval.
Watch one video and you'll be hooked.
Watch a video and see how awesome it is, and when you play it, it is amazing.
So have you been playing the Battlefield 4 beta?
Yes, I did play that as well. I've only played 5 or 6 rounds. I'm extremely optimistic. I was already optimistic before playing it. Now I'm even more optimistic. Everything's pretty maintained in there. Like it feels very Battlefield 3.
Yeah,
but slight improvements.
What little I played, the way I see it is like 3+. I loved 3. 3 was almost perfect to me. Like, I loved it. I didn't regret. Like, I felt like I got more than my money's out of that game and the DLC. Some of the best DLC setups I've seen in games. So when they announced 4 and they're like, it's 3. But with this, and this added, I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up. Because more 3 is good.
The destruction is really cool. The map that I've played the most of is the one that you see in the trailer with the hotel that's crumbling.
Yeah, the Shanghai map.
If you can conquer that point first, it starts off as like a giant 20-story hotel, and you can take the elevators to the top, and it's cool. You have to run in, you have to hit the button on the elevator. The opponents know, they can see your elevators coming, and it's almost like a SWAT showdown. Like, if they're already controlling it and you're trying to get up, they're waiting for you to come out of the elevators, and you're waiting for the door to come open, and then just all
you hear
hell.
the ding, and then it opens, and no one's there.
It's like a freaking action movie. It's like, ding, door opens, and just all hell breaks loose.
The naval combat's pretty sweet,
you
too.
go at it.
The jet skis and stuff are awesome.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they brought back naval combat.
There's,
oh my gosh.
There's pontoon boats that have really good guns on them.
There was only one map in Battlefield 2 that had water combat.
See, the thing they're doing is they call it Levolution. All the levels are going to have one thing that can catastrophically change the map. In Shanghai, it's that big tower. If they take out the supports at the bottom of the tower falls over, and the point goes down to the ground, and the big shattered remains in the tower.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The top of that hotel, it starts off as a big hotel. You can jump out of the windows and go down on other points. And I was telling them, my very first, my second life, I spawned at the top of that point. I ran, shot out the window, jumped out. I'm floating down. I see a tank. I'm way above everything. I see two tanks fighting. I pull out my rocket launcher and I shoot the enemy one while I'm falling down, and I'm just that was the coolest thing I've ever done.
But my favorite thing is the hold-offs in the lobby down below with the supports and everything.
Yeah.
Because you get your teams down there, and you have buddies up in the top that are sniping from that point, and enemies are trying to get in there and blow up the supports. There's two new game modes they're looking at doing that are pretty cool sounding. One of them's up on the beta now. And then one of the maps I saw that's actually kind of cool is it's a set of islands, and there's a battleship that's crashed into a windmill at sea. And the Levolution for that level is if you blow up that windmill, the battleship comes loose, and it runs into the island and just skates right over a point, and it becomes it adds a bunch of terrain to make that point easier to defend.
Yeah, it's a very intelligent idea that they had of doing that. It's really
gimmicky,
completely,
but it's good gimmick.
Yeah. It completely changes that capture point, because then it goes to crumbled, and it's very open. You're open to sniping from both A and E. But there's also lots of cover, so you can have a big ground fight. You have the boats that are bringing people in, right directly to the point now, instead of having to go to the top of the building.
Yeah, and then when the tower collapses, it obscures part of the harbor too, so it changes up the naval.
It's really cool.
They did. DICE has always been people always attribute Battlefield as an EA game. It's definitely a DICE game, and DICE deserves credit where credit is due.
They've always been really good with it.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Easily one of the best looking games on the market, if not the. It's crazy.
I've always been a Battlefield fan.
I'm a hardcore Battlefield fan.
Battlefield 2 was my game.
Dude, I was a 2142 nerd. Me and Aaron used to play Vietnam back in the day.
See, the thing was 2142 is where it killed it for me.
Oh, I loved it with the mechs and the Titans.
It was just too buggy.
It was. It got better towards later.
Yeah, but that was a lot of work they had to put into it, so I kind of,
I've been playing, Terraria. Terraria got a new patch this week. Terraria is kind of like 2D Minecraft, I guess is the term for it. It's a more RPG-ish. You go, you collect items, you kill monsters, you go deeper, you fight bosses. It's kind of like old school retro, where it's a platformer. It's you're running around, and me, Aaron, and Travis have been playing the crap out of it because they did a new patch that had some new bosses and all kinds of stuff. It's a fun game. It's cheap on Steam too. It's $10. You'll easily get your money's worth out of it. I'm trying to think of what else. Rome Total War 2. Me and Aaron are at odds on this one, because Rome Total War 2 has the potential to be the greatest game ever. It is awesome. But it's so buggy.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Oh my gosh. And then they've done a weekly patch every week, and they've addressed major bugs every patch. I give them huge kudos here. They've worked hard at it. They've been trying to make us happy with it. It just sucks that they had to do it like this, because Shogun, Empire, all those other previous Total War games were really buggy on release too. So you think they'd get their act together. But it was almost unplayable for me on release day. I pre-ordered it. I was very, very unhappy with it. Now at least I can play it on high graphics settings, and it's gorgeous. It's so cool. You're raiding a city with a bunch of Greek soldiers on their ships, and you can go first-person mode, and the waves are rocking, and you see all your troops, and they have their shields out. Arrows start raining in from city walls, and they hold their shields above their heads. And you have like your little generals yelling orders and stuff, and then you just hit the land, and everything shakes, and your troops go running in. It's fun. When everything gets toned down and fixed up on that game, it has the chance to be like PC Game of the Year. Like it's good. It's just.
I'm not into those games, but I hear lots of people talk excellent things about them. Like, I know a lot of people enjoy them.
As an RTS fan, real-time strategy games.
I don't care much about RTS, but I know you and Aaron play the crap out of them.
Me and Aaron live on them.
Yeah.
Cookie Clicker. Gosh, forgot about that game.
Who
So
cares?
this is the new crack cocaine
Get
running
out
through
of
everywhere.
here.
No.
Get out of here.
No.
Get out of here.
I've been playing that too.
Yeah, good for you. All I've been playing is Dota 2, which gets me really even more excited for the clicks.
Man.
Those sculpts look good, man.
I want an Abaddon.
I know they're going to do, who have they announced? Witch Doctor, Bloodseeker.
We saw 3 of them at Gen Con.
Witch Doctor, Bloodseeker, and
Tidehunter, Razor.
Razor, okay.
I'm trying to remember who the 5th person was.
So, Razor, these are going to be really hard to do, some of them. Witch Doctor's going to be easy.
I'm wondering if they're going to do a special mechanic for their ultimates, though. I was thinking about that.
Razor's ultimate, they won't be really... I mean, they can... I don't know. Razor's ultimate's going to be neat if they do anything.
It'd be like a special Quake kind of thing. Would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
The Dota hero abilities, really when they break down in the games, they have 3 special abilities and they have an ultimate. And as you level up, you run back and forth, you're fighting little NPC troops and you're fighting the other players. And as you kill stuff, you gain levels, you buy items and stuff like that from the shop to make your hero better. And you put points in your abilities to upgrade them. And then once you hit a certain level, you can get your ultimate ability. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I guess, honestly, I hate to say it, the best thing they could do would be to choose one ability, do it as a special ability on the click, and then do their ultimate as the other special ability.
I can already picture Bloodseeker's ultimate. He could do Bloodseeker's ultimate basically is you use it, it does a certain amount of damage on startup, but as they move more and more, they take more damage. So what they could
run
do
away from him.
is they could have Bloodseeker do an attack, it does damage, but if this unit moves this turn, they can do extra damage.
Or stuff like that.
And if he kills a unit, he gains 3 clicks or something extremely...
It's funny because, Dota clicks, while I think you could transfer them into clicks well, or Dota characters, it's going to be interesting to see how much WizKids invests in them.
The thing that has given me the most hope about it is seeing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Clicks and how they're doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty on board. So
it'll be fun, at the very least. And it's got a giant 36 by 36 map, so...
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I mean, come on. That's awesome.
With that, we will wrap up this episode. Next week, we will be talking about the Phoenix Force resource, explaining exactly how it works.
It's sexy.
And talking about some good pieces that would probably have some good synergy with it as well. So, look forward to that next week. Until then, go ahead and send us some emails. If you have any questions you want answered on the air.
Or things you want to hear us ramble about.
If you have good ideas for main topics you want us to talk about in the future, don't forget to enter our Best Build contest and Dial Design contest. Best Build, the deadline for that is already up for this month. So like I said, we'll be playing those teams next week, and then we'll announce the winner. Dial Design contest is still going on right now. Just finished up week 2. Week 3 will be starting as of right now. And then last week will be the team base, and we'll be starting fresh after that. If you would like to look at those dials or jump in, you can jump in and, of course, join in. You'll be at a disadvantage. You won't win, but you can join in the fun and the festivities and the discussions.
I mean, heck, me and you are, and we're not even eligible for prizes.
It's fun. You can check out that link. It'll be linked on this podcast main page as well. Go back on Podbean and check out some of our old episodes. We have a good variety now. If you look back at our topics, we've covered a lot of different things, and a lot of things that people will find useful such as talking about Wolverine and X-Men Sealed when we talked about what are good pieces.
Fear Itself Sealed with month 6 coming up is going to be a big one.
We talked about the team bases, good ways to use them. We have the generic theme team necessities. That episode has like 1,400 views or something.
Yeah,
that episode's blown up. So go back on our site and check out some things you may not have seen. But anyways, like always, you want to talk to us, hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, or email. Dial H for Heroclix on each of those. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.